remember anything after being scanned by my bodyguard.
How much does Gibson know?
Your family is not really your family.
A human was cloned.
Tell me why I'm a threat.
Why kill me and not the clone?
You saw him, he didn't see you.
Daddy?
They'll do anything to destroy the evidence. And you're the evidence.
What are you gonna do?
Take my life back.
How do you know? He's not you, and you're not him.
I know who I am. The sixth day.
I'm just a dude
who I am.
in a dude disguised as another dude.
You had the same idea as me.
Hey man,
I wish you would have like spliced that in at the end.
I know who I am. Well, of course, man. But hi everyone in the chat. Hey Dark Hour, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? Yes, we're here at out of order 2 host 39, not 2 host 40, which was last week because some stuff got weird. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just chilling, relaxing, and it's we're talking about Arnold today. So what's not to love, man?
Mm-hmm.
Arnold is.
I mean, you know, this is me on my ever persistent mission to get Drinker to talk about every Arnold movie that's ever existed. That includes Hercules in New York. I will get there eventually.
Hey.
But speaking of Drinker, you know, I figure I'll just do. You know, he's been a bit demanding lately. I don't know if you were aware of this, but you know, first he was all like, "Hey, there's a light snow here in the UK. Can we please reschedule?" And I was like, "Of course, anything for you, Drinker." And then he's like, "Hey, Dark Hour, someone backed out of open bar. Can you come and swoop in at the 11th hour and, you know, save my ass? Because, you know, there's no way I could ever do it without you." And I was like, "Oh, I feel so honored to do that for you." And then he moved it. He was like, "Can we move the time? I'll be in Morocco. So, you know, you gotta like," I was like, "But, you know, only if I can roast you." So here he is. He's the critical diva over here.
Roast away. This was deserved, I think.
Thanks for coming on, man.
No, it's a pleasure, man. It's always good to be here. Always good to talk Arnold movies. And yeah, thank you for accommodating me. I know it was a bit of a pain.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. Yeah, but of course, the best excuse to do Arnold noises is to analyze an Arnold movie. Of course, before we hop in, Chris, Blue Collar Loser for $1.99. Not his best, but still enjoyable. I love Arnold. LOL.
We all love Arnold.
It's definitely, it falls into the category of, if it wasn't for him, it'd be unwatchable. Because it's something, if anybody else, and there was obviously, you know, a lot that went into this movie in terms of recastings. Like originally they had a bunch of other people, and even a different Joe Dante was supposed to be the director originally. And
would have been a better movie with Joe Dante.
But you know, there's just no replacement for Arnold, and it's like a C plus movie. Like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. You know, it's totally watchable. So
it's in that weird period of his career where you know how he took a bit of hiatus to have heart surgery. I think he had some congenital heart problem that he needed to get fixed eventually, and that was like he did Batman and Robin, and then he took a year or two out to like recuperate and stuff and get that dealt with. And, you know, I hate to say it, he was never really the same after that. Like, he seemed to like age quite noticeably after that. And when he came back, he did like End of Days, and then The Sixth Day, and then Terminator 3. And you could tell he just wasn't quite the same Arnold that he'd been. And this movie was a kind of funny one because, like, I think he was trying to branch out from just his usual, you know, a big clunky action flick. You know, and trying to do things that were a bit more interesting. So, like with End of Days, you had the kind of playing on the fear of the millennium coming up, and you know, it was very much like heavy religious overtones to it. It kind of was almost like an action horror movie. I think that's what they were going for. And with this, it's like action sci-fi. You know, kind of like what he did with Total Recall, actually playing on the themes of identity and you know, memory and that sort of thing. Just not done with a particularly talented director like Paul Verhoeven, who could bring that satirical edge to it. And I think Yeah, it felt like they were almost trying to play on the Matrix, like trying to make him cool, and that's not going to work with Arnold, who was kind of getting on a bit by that point, and it felt like it was trying to force him into a mold that he just didn't really fit in, sadly.
Yeah, I agree. I think they try and give him that John McClane aspect where it's your regular old guy that's got into this situation because just a regular dude at this point in this movie, and you're like,
Yeah, he was a lot smaller by this point. Like physically, obviously, he had surgery, like you said, so he wasn't working out. He did get bigger for Terminator 3. He was able to bulk back up for that, but
he had to lift a coffin, of course. So normal.
Often full of guns and people. It was
required bulking.
Yeah, I mean, but I think this was like that period where you could tell that he was just he was starting to decline a little bit as like a mainstream action star. You know, there was a newer, younger generation who was coming in to supplant him, and it was not embarrassing. I'm not going to say that, but like it definitely wasn't his best.
Oh yeah.
No, it was this and End of Days were kind of his. I remember when they both came out, and I was really excited because I was like old enough to really know about them at that point. Like I'd only ever seen older, Arnold movies, and wasn't really old enough to go see one in theaters. I don't remember which one I saw in theaters, but I remember being disappointed. I think I saw End of Days in theaters. I think that was the one I went with my dad to see in theaters. I think I was disappointed by that one. This one, I'm pretty certain I saw on TV or something.
I went and saw Last Action Hero, I think, in theaters, and kind of regret that.
Man, you guys are.
But you made a shirt that has that as your logo.
Well, I know, like the poster for it is freaking awesome. Like I love the look of it; it's so cool. But the movie, not so much.
Dude, the first Arnold movie I watched in theaters was The Last Stand back in 2013. Man.
Oh, you poor man.
Oh man, but yeah.
So I guess I kind of already did the like first experience with it, so I guess that'll count as mine. I remember seeing it and being kind of disappointed. It actually is a little bit better now to me because they accurately predicted some weird shit because it's supposed to take place in like late 20-teens, I think.
It just says somewhere in the near future.
Nearer than you think.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And they like predicted the refrigerators with the Amazon on them to order stuff, and what is it, like self-driving vehicles, obviously, and drones,
virtual girls, of course,
like bots.
Bots are around, man.
But yeah, so it actually, in hindsight, they did a decent
an American and Frenchman in the Scott walk into a bar.
Bill Clinton's daughter was going to be the president in 2015.
Oh, I didn't know.
What they were going for? It's like, I don't know. It's like the president wants to talk to you or something, and Arnold's like, "Oh, tell Chelsea that I'll be back shortly or something. Like I'll call her later."
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't catch that one, and I watched it twice for this. I didn't even catch that. But I guess Drinker, what was your first experience with the movie, if you recall, or at least your oldest remembrance of it?
So this, I didn't see at cinemas. Maybe I had a feeling back then what it was going to be like, but I think it probably would have been on either like DVD at the time, or maybe just like it came onto like terrestrial TV or something, or satellite TV here in the UK. And probably watched it with my dad. And we would have just, I recall kind of watching it thinking, Arnold movies, they're usually pretty reliable. There'll be lots of, shooting. There'll be lots of action. It's going to be a fun ride. And just watching it thinking, this feels kind of lame.
Well, it's funny because the reason why I even asked you to do this, first of all, it's anniversary, but I remember you on, I think it was Last Orders for Open Bar, and Mahler had said he did it with Metal, and you were like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and I wish I was there for that, and I was like, well, I'm going to make that happen. So
there we go. Yeah, I'm living vicariously, but I think particularly the ending, which I'm sure we'll get to in due course, just felt like a real cop-out, because I kind of felt like it was building up to some heroic sacrifice, like, the clone giving his life for the real one, and maybe there's points to be made there about like the nature of having a soul, and who the true identity really is and what defines a person, all that, and yeah, they just kind of wimped out.
Yep.
Generic, hey, everyone lives happily ever after kind of ending.
Yeah, our villain falls from the sky. You know, the usual.
The Austrian man goes to Argentina. We're just gonna go with that one. Didn't catch that on the first rewatch. Second rewatch,
right in there, I think.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, they didn't think that one through at all, or they did, one or the other. I guess Tara, that just leaves you.
Yeah, well, I mean, my first experience with this movie was preparing the live stream for this movie. Pretty much, yeah, that was the first time I saw it. I had heard of it because I know that it was one of Terry Crews's first film performances. So
it's his very first, actually. It's his first one, yeah.
Yeah, first ever then. So that's why I had heard of this. And yeah, I knew that it was an Arnold movie. I knew they talk about genetics and stuff like that. So I thought it was all right. You know, some of the action scenes were decent. The CGI for 2000 is pretty decent as well in terms of what they're trying to do.
They overused the shit out of that one effect, though, that like where they zoom out satellite style, almost like CSI, and they show all the cars. They overused the shit out of that one.
That was the cool thing at the time because it makes it seem technological. And
if you look closely, though, they were using the same one over and over again. If you looked, actually, they just like reversed it every time. Yep. It was the same one.
They kept doing they kept doing 180s on it. It was just like, all right, cool.
It is interesting, though, when you get these movies that are clearly inspired by real things going on in the culture at the time. Like cloning had started to become a thing because here in Scotland, we successfully cloned animals and it created a big moral panic. You know, what does this mean? Are we going to start cloning humans now? Like, what does this mean for our future? And ultimately, we haven't really done anything with it. But like this movie plays on that fear, which is...
That we know of. You know,
oh yeah,
maybe Richard Hammond is creating Jurassic Park. Yes, they're creating Jurassic Park as we speak. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
all the places to successfully clone something the first time. Scotland would not be on my my bingo card for that one.
And it was a fucking sheep of all things. Like, come on, guys, you're just playing up to the stereotype now.
Man, they should they should make something that just makes booze. Pretty much.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they were
actually a tree that makes booze. That's what they were trying.
They were trying to clone hops, but for some reason they got a sheep instead. It was.
Oh man. Well, I guess we can get into it, man. Columbia Pictures. Wait. All right, there we go. Columbia. God created man in his own image, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Genesis 1:27:31. There we go. Boom! A sheep named Dolly, 1997. And of course, the Genome Project successfully maps human genetic blueprint DNA, which is in 2000. Soon afterward, anti-cloning protests take place in Rome of all places, man. And the 6 day laws have passed. Now we're finally getting proper lore of the world.
Well, it makes sense that it would have been Rome. That's Catholic Central. They would have been. Yeah, that would make sense.
They had too many problems with little kids at the time, man. Fuck it. They wouldn't have been going with the genetics.
They were like, "Hey, wait a minute. Can we clone children? Is that possible? Is
it possible to clone 12-year-olds? Come on, we need to know. We need to know." So the 6 day laws have been passed, and so basically, it's illegal to clone humans, and that brings us to the title, The Sixth Day. Now we're at the future, and we're seeing Johnny Phoenix, who has probably one of the coolest fucking names of all time, just making a play.
Is that like Simon Phoenix's brother from Demolition Man?
Possibly.
maybe. Yeah.
Daniel B in the chat brings this up. Yeah, Phoenix for Rising from the Dead. But my favorite thing about this is that they actually thought the XFL was going to be a success.
Was that Vince McMahon's promotion?
Yep. Yeah, that was the one that he put together that lasted all of one season, which just happened to be around when this movie was around. And then he tried to do it again in 2020, and it failed again. Well, he sold it. It's still around, but he sold it.
Yeah, so we get our first glimpses of future technology being used in sports, at least. And so you can basically just see everything on your helmet, which... I mean, yeah, the future, simplicity in technology, I get it, but doesn't that just take away everything from the sport?
they can do stuff like this if they really wanted to, but there's the NFL, because obviously the XFL is what they're doing, but the NFL doesn't allow for this kind of shit because it can hold a competitive advantage for certain people and stuff. Like the radios in the helmets get cut off after I think, but when it's 10 seconds before the play. So they really want it to be player on player, not technology on technology. They won't even put a chip in the ball to tell you where it is on the field. So,
damn. I know that Nike had their red contact lenses banned because it gave an unfair advantage. This was in the very early 2000s. I think 2001 or 2002. Nike had some red contact lenses that they made where you could see fast-moving objects way better, and so they would use it basically in sports. And a lot of people were using it until, I guess, the sports commission or whatever decided that it was an unfair advantage to everyone, so they just said fuck it, we're banning these. So in the early 2000s, stuff like this existed where you could just directly put it onto your eyes. You didn't even need a visor or anything like that, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of think like, well, what's the military applications of this? Like, if you can pinpoint where the enemy are located, where your own troops are, like you can receive orders like directly to your printed onto your eyes, basically, or across your vision. That'd be pretty useful.
It would.
It's basically a heads-up display from a video game or something. Just
pretty
in real life.
And of course, Johnny Phoenix is dead. That's it, pretty much.
It's a bad tackle. Didn't he like broken his neck or something?
They say it's one of his it was some vertebrae or something. He would have been. I don't think he's dead. I think he would have been. He would have been paralyzed. That's what it was. They kill him.
Yeah, he would have been a vegetable, so they kill him.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he could have got a sponsorship of like V8 at that point. I mean, come on, they could have still made it.
And so we do get a first look at. We do get our first look at Robert Marshall, who's over there, played by Michael Rooker, and so he's taking him away, and we have him on the phone with who we don't know yet is Michael Drucker, who is the CEO of all this cloning shit. And what he's saying is that, they're checking out the stats and all that stuff and what they can do to bring him back. So they try and evacuate his body as fast as possible so no one knows that he's dead or he's a vegetable. And so that they can bring him back in the near future. And of course, we're back to Arnold. There he is with his chiseled, godlike face. It's insane, man. The people look like this. Austrian genes, man. That's pretty much it.
He has one of the best jaw lines ever. It's like,
oh, dude, for sure.
If there's a Hall of Fame with jaw lines, he's probably a first ballot.
I mean, you can see why James Cameron took one look at him and thought, right, he's not Kyle Reese. He is the Terminator.
Oh yeah.
There is something kind of machine-like about him.
Yeah, Michael Rooker is great in this. He's just fed up with everyone's crap. Yep. He even gets his leg shot off, which he doesn't appreciate. Last movie I watched on VCR with my family. Oh man,
the 2000s.
So
there was no feeling. There was no feeling like when a tape broke in a VCR. Like no.
Because it would sometimes wrap around the mechanism as well, and it's like that's your VCR fucked. You've got to spend the next 2 hours unwinding it.
Oh yeah,
you got to take the top off. You got to make sure it didn't completely go through all the heads and everything. It's like
I will say though, like it's always a pleasure to see Michael Rooker in things. You know, like
oh hell yeah,
because especially in that period, like I think he was quite active in movies. You don't see so much of him now, but pretty reliable actor.
Oh yeah, he steals the show every time. No, I think that he steals the show every time he's on the screen. Like he knows how to give a performance, and he knows when to hammer stuff in, and he knows when to have fun with it, which I really do appreciate.
He also has looked the same pretty much his entire career, so it's hard to tell when the movie was filmed with him.
It's like him and Jason Statham. I swear to God, Jason Statham has been 40 years old for the past quarter of a century.
Yep.
You ever seen him with hair? You ever seen Statham with hair?
No,
it looks so weird.
I think he was in Ghosts of Mars when he had like a bit of hair. Like you could tell he was losing it pretty rapidly, but he was trying to make the most of it.
Oh man, yeah, it's weird to see him with hair. Why are there a ton of Photoshop pictures of him with hair? What the fuck?
Maybe did I ever show you the music video that he's in?
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah. Because this is going off at a crazy tangent, but you got to experience that shit.
Drinker's frozen, but we can still hear him. That's weird.
Oh, have I unfrozen?
No, we can still hear you just fine. You're smiling a lot now. It's very
Is that a
Yeah.
professional smile?
Hopefully,
It's fine.
if
This is
I
actually
bring
AI.
video back, I should come back. Am I normal now?
No,
still
it's fine.
smiling.
It might catch up in a minute.
So yeah, someone in the chat said mirror TV, which is a stupid idea. So I guess so. Yeah. So Johnny finished to play next week's game. That's just our way of knowing that human cloning exists. And yep, he's gonna be in next week's game. He's recovered already, and we meet his little daughter, Clara Gibson. Of course, Arnold's name in this movie is Adam Gibson. So this is Clara Gibson, his daughter, and she's just playing with bananas, saying that she wants a. What's the name of the doll? I forget.
What was it? Something Sally? Was it? Or like, what the hell was it? Hold on, I'll look it up. It was.
It's a weird, realistic, horrendous-looking doll that I wish no one would ever have.
Sin Pal Cindy. There we go. That's what it was. Sin Pal Cindy.
Oh yeah.
It is a horrendous-looking doll.
It
looks
looks okay,
like
Drinker. We'll just have the frozen version of you.
Wait,
It's
you
fine.
know what I'll do? I'll dip out for a second and then come straight back.
Yeah, go ahead.
honestly just to refresh the page, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, if you just. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and he's gone. We can talk shit about him.
Yeah. All right. Dude, I was surprised to see Michael Rappaport in this movie. I was like, what? Michael Rappaport? Yeah, there he is. Yep.
There you go. Now you're moving. It was honestly, it was a very weird. You were like,
It wasn't an unflattering angle, so it's all right.
no, it was actually. It looked like a headshot. It looked like you had taken a headshot for a movie or something.
Oh,
Boosh, Boosh, I'm
happened again?
talking about the toy, man. I'm talking about the toy, not the
happened
dog.
again,
Okay.
Drinker. I think you might need to we might just need to end up going with your logo.
Oh, did it freeze again?
Yeah,
I wonder if it's the camera that's doing that.
it might be.
Maybe.
But if you want to upload your
I mean, honestly, you're frozen with a smile, so it's all right.
yeah, it's actually not a terrible.
Really, it's all right.
But if you wanted to upload an avatar, it's in settings.
Yeah, I can do that actually. Yeah.
We can just go. We can just go avatars. At that.
This Captain Musling says this movie inspired the Mad TV skit with Will Sasso. So me and my two clones join forces because it turns out I'm really an angel. Then the CIA makes a bad clone of who is in cahoots with the devil. I'll have to check that out, actually. All right,
we'll just go with the avatars this time.
Oh,
No big
is
deal.
my avatar appeared now?
Yes, you're good.
We have your avatar.
We're all avatars now. It's fine.
All right, and so we meet his best friend, Adam Gibson's best friend, who is played by Michael Rappaport, and his name is Hank Morgan. So Hank is chilling. We have more technology with their self-driving cars, which, hey man, we have those now. We even have self-driving, what is it, Ubers or something like that? I forget the name.
The fact that it's a Chevy is what kind of throws this whole thing off. There's definitely not. I guess Tesla didn't really exist yet, but it's of all the companies, it was Chevy.
Chevy, yeah. Oh man. And yeah, so you could input your preferred destination and all of that, and so yeah, they're just talking about life and what friends talk about. He's saying, "Hey, his date was ass because she kept talking and talking and talking," and Arnold is just on his ass because, well, he has, I guess, sex with a virtual woman, which is
as you do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people do it nowadays. So yeah,
I mean, if you could it's just an upfront cost. You don't need to worry about all like taking her out on dates or food or anything. You just
true.
She'll always pretend to
make
laugh
you a
at
virtual
jokes, It's great.
Yep.
But she had to watch the sports. Remember, she's like, I can watch all of your sports that I recorded.
And so of course what they're doing is they're both pilots for a private charting company, and they're dropping off all of these dudes on a little shack in the mountains where they're gonna snowboard off of. And he's testing out right now is his new remote control for the helicopters that they drive, which we'll see in just a moment. But just before that, his wife calls and says that their dog Oliver is dead. He had a weird dog virus. I don't even know why they had to add that stuff, but yeah.
Like he's old as hell. He's just an old dog.
Yeah, the kid just said he's old for real. It's like the dog died from a weird virus.
it gives them more justification for cloning him, because like if he'd been really old, then the kid could probably accept it more easily. It's just like, well, dogs are really old and like eventually it is going to pass away. But because it's just so unexpected, it's like, well, okay, she won't be prepared for this, so she'll be really upset.
What? Bush says she killed the dog. No, she didn't.
The wife, you mean, killed the dog? Is that what he's saying?
Nah, she didn't kill the dog, man. She didn't.
She's actually a double agent the whole time. It's just
Total
like
Recall.
all over
Total Recall. Yep.
Which honestly, there's a lot of things in this that you could see were lifted from Total Recall.
Oh yeah,
like almost wholesale scenes are like lifted from it.
So what she's talking to him about is RePet. So RePet is basically dog cloning or pet cloning in general. And so what she's trying to do is convince him to get Oliver, who is their dog, repetted so that his daughter doesn't find out that the dog is dead. And he's clearly against it. Wait, what?
I can only imagine he goes down, he walks by to go to RePet, and there's a just a big fat hairy guy working with a jackhammer, and he's like, "You can't go to RePet, they'll lobotomize
you." So these are the planes, the XX charter planes, man. They're pretty cool.
These are cool.
They're really cool, man.
It's like, are they helicopters? Are they jets? They're a bit of everything.
They're both. They're cool.
And they can be flown remotely, which is even cooler.
Yep.
It's
dog
so funny,
age. The government is covering it up.
Just looking at these screenshots here, it's got such a 90s look. It's got such a 90s idea of the future.
It's the color palette.
So charming. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like the bright colors and stuff.
Yeah, everything is just doom and gloom now, pretty much. Everything is neon. The future is neon, basically.
I always thought the future would end up kind of like which one was it? Batman Forever, when they had all the neon nunchucks and shit. I was like, that's the future right there. All of the ravers are going to take over. It's going to be gangs of ravers just going around the cities.
Oh, dude. And so they arrive at their destination, and we get some CGI where the chopper is finally flying. I guess the only issue with the CGI here is the how do I say this? The texture, which I think is just a normal problem the CGI had in the early 2000s. Texture wasn't there. Jurassic Park in 1993 gets a pass because they had a ton of practical, and because the T-Rex texture was done at night. So until today, you can't really see
one of the things
at night and in rain too.
Had they done these scenes, now granted, it would make no sense for snowboarders to be going up a mountain at night. If these would have been like later on in the movie, though, when they show the planes again and it's the darkness of around the building, it looks a little bit better. Yeah,
definitely. Now I do have a clip without audio of the planes flying, so we can just check that out. So yeah. They kind of look good, man. They look good. I accept it. It's pretty nice.
I do love the way that they go from right here. They go into like jet mode.
Of course, yeah. Tom Cruise saw this and said, "Yeah, I need this in Mission Impossible Fallout for sure. We need to do it with choppers."
Sorry, Drinker. I thought you forgot to unmute. I muted you after you unmuted yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just going to say they kind of look like practical models that have been green screened on rather than just being purely CGI. I don't know if they are, but the way they move there, like the way the light bounces off them and stuff, they don't look like they're wholly CGI creations. I don't know.
There's a possibility there's a possibility that was a green screen and they were in essentially like one of those things that they put pilots in to test G-forces and stuff. And
well, I mean, here are two fully built models right in front of us.
Yeah, they're practical. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying they might have had ones that were mocked up on, because especially that back one, you couldn't really see the whole thing, the whole back of it. There could have been some sort of piston or something underneath it that was turning it.
True. Yeah, I do wonder how they did it, because they do look good, pretty much. Especially the last shot when it was coming over the mountain. That looks really, really good. I think it's due to the coloring of the yellow. It manages to refract light better. But yeah, so they drop everyone off, but now they have a VIP client. And the VIP client is very, very very important. And Lofty would have given this a score 8 out of 10 because of how cool the world winning is with the CGI.
That is true. Lofty is basically CGI though, so you gotta give him a break there. I miss Lofty. We gotta get him back someday. I know he disappeared.
Lofty's got to be back, man. And so to get this VIP thing, they have to basically do a test, and the test is the moment where, of course, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, he gets cloned. So because they have their DNA,
they get his memory banks and his DNA. They get everything they need to clone him. He doesn't,
and it's all just a kind of snapshot that gets taken through your eyes somehow.
Yep. It's kind of weird, but I do like the design though. The design of the machine, nice and compact, pretty cool. And
I do like this. The actor who I guess the character, I don't know what to call him. He's like their doctor or whatever that's here. He's I gotta go and I have to do this for some 2 chefs and a waiter or some shit like that, or 2 chefs and a driver after this.
Yeah, because the thing is what they want to do is they need Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, so they want him specifically to drive, but he doesn't want to. He wants to go to get the RePet stuff, and he wants to go home because it's his birthday. So he switches places with his best friend, Hank, who, of course, is on screen over there, without the company knowing. So it's supposed to be him in the pilot's seat, and Hank is supposed to be back there, which is the huge issue that basically fucks up everything at this point. And
it's so funny that they wouldn't just have his picture on file and know what he looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Especially considering that you have holograms of lawyers and you have holograms of psychiatrists that can just pop up out of nowhere, and they've got everyone on computer.
They're so thorough. You'd think that they would have at least looked them up on something. You know, they have this company has to have a website or something like that. There's no way that they don't.
Yeah, security did a horrendous job, honestly, profiling. Eye scan, blood test, colonoscopy for fun. Yeah, dude.
They can always be fun.
Yeah. And of course, this dude named Trip shoots everyone. And so, of course, the best friend, the man who's in the middle of the screen with his back turned, is Michael Drucker, who's the CEO of all this clone stuff, who was on the phone before with Michael Rooker. So yeah, they all get killed. At this point, we don't know this. We only think that his friend got killed. And so, marketing, ladies and gentlemen, the future of marketing, it's everywhere, and it's in 3D. It's beautiful.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is another thing they pretty much got right on the money, is this is exactly what a lot of, I mean, maybe not with the fish swimming above you, but this is pretty much exactly what modern.
I think movies always overestimated what holograms were going to be capable of. Like they could be projected all around you and stuff. It's like, yeah, they can't do that.
I think what they're trying to do now is the phone, kind of like a watch hologram on your phone, where you have this thing that you basically just put in your breast pocket, and the hologram, the light goes on your hand, and so you can try and tap, and that's what they're trying to do with new types of phones. But the technology still isn't there at all. It's close, but it's just not there. So
I don't think
it's kind of a cool
unless they were to put some sort of device in your eyes. I don't think it's ever going to get to that level, because the human eye just doesn't work that way. To turn a picture into basically a 3D model in front of you requires something, either that, what is it? Not VR. It was like active glasses, like active reality glasses. You need something to change it. So until we get to the point where we're putting like, implants in our eyes for that sort of stuff, it will always just be kind of a projection on a wall kind of thing for the most part.
The closest you get is like augmented reality or something, and even
that's an augmented reality. That's it.
Yeah. But we're back at RePet, where love means no surprises. And RePet is pretty cool, man. They've got, I guess, Colonel Sanders hugging a Dalmatian. That's their brand logo.
They're really going for the old school, like, folksy charm with this one, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, you've got the kid there hugging the dog, like the giant statue of it.
And RePet is just repurposing your pet. That's kind of it.
It's not repurposing your pet. It's rebooting your pet. It's
restarting, you might say.
True.
But
So-
it's so funny how like there's all these protests about the ethical, fallout from cloning humans, but like we're totally fine with cloning animals. Like that's
Yep.
okay.
They don't care. Would you guys actually get a RePet if they existed? Would you?
Yeah, probably. I think so. I guess it depends. Like my cat that I had when I was in high school died of cancer, so probably him. If it was like kind of like Drinker said, if it lived a full life, old age kind of thing, probably not. But if it was like out of nowhere, got really sick or got hit by a car or something, yeah, then probably yes.
I think I'd be worried about the whole pet cemetery thing where it's like, okay, it looks like your pet, but it's not. Something different.
Yeah, you think that something would just, I don't know, maybe something could snap one day.
Yeah,
would be
exactly.
scary. It's true. They turn Fido off and back on again.
Have you tried to restart your pet?
Control Alt Delete your pet.
All right, and so
It
yeah,
does
so-
actually. Daniel says that it looks like a Build-A-Bear. It does actually kind of look like a Build-A-Bear workshop.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
nice,
god,
nice
there's
and,
that doll thing. That is terrifying, actually.
yeah, it's fucking horrendous. Well,
I
think
guess
it's
that's
actually a
kind of
little-
what they were going for with this, where it's like it's meant to look cute, but like the audience knows it's actually like really disturbing and weird.
It looks like the stomach baby from Total Recall, man.
Kawato.
Yeah, yeah, that's his name.
What do you want, Mr. Quaid?
Open your mind and your wallet, because I cost a shit ton.
Yeah, it just looks horrendous. I don't know what child on earth, even today, man. I don't know what kid would see this and be like, "Yeah, I want it as a pet, like as a doll." It's like,
It does look a little like Greta Thunberg. Oh my god.
oh
Just like
man.
every time you say anything to it, it just goes, "How dare you!"
Mhm. I'd rather have a small soldier than one of these things. Hell yeah,
Well,
dude.
that's the thing. If it was Greta Thunberg, they would just all those protesters would buy up all the copies and just walk them down the street, and they'd win the protest.
Dude, can you imagine an army of these just walking around saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
it's scary.
I'm your friend."
It's funny because you look at
Mithrigan.
the picture. Yeah, Mithrigan. If you look at the picture in the background of what it's supposed to look like, it's the little heart portrait there. The one on the far left
Mhm.
looks way more realistic in that picture, almost like it's a real girl.
And then you just get this horrendous thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Get it off my screen.
So of course he gets it for his daughter because she wanted it, and he goes back home and realizes build a Terminator workshop. Yeah. Hey Jacob. And he goes back home and it's his party, but someone's already there that looks exactly like him. That's celebrating his birthday, eating his cake. My God.
Honestly, that would set me off if I saw someone eating my cake.
Yeah,
Or
dude.
I know in Jingle All the Way, his cookies.
You can have my career, my family, everything, but don't take my cake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all my debts. You can take all that shit. But
And Arnold being a regular dude, just wearing a Hawaiian shirt, man. Just
Yeah,
relaxing.
Arnold, because he loves his Hawaiian shirts. I bet he just rocked up on set that day.
Definitely, dude. Especially
they
with
were
the
like, we have the shirt for you. And he's
conversation.
like, absolutely not.
Oh, dude, especially with the conversation where she's just offering him a stogie. He's like, and he smoked your stogie. He's like, my stogie. It's just
Okay.
a 30-second clip of Arnold smoking a cigar, just appreciating it. I'm sure he just popped up on stage. Like,
They
yeah, I
have
don't
some
feel like working.
weird. They have some weird logic behind. They're like, well, you know what cigars do to people? Like, no, they don't really do much of anything. Actually, They're just
Yeah. Oh
give you a
man.
mouth cancer. That's about it. It's like,
Yeah, I guess they were assuming like the world would have progressed to the point where cigarettes are illegal and like even cigars are under threat. I don't know.
yeah.
Probably, yeah. And so of course he gets visited by the one and only Terry Crews, ladies and gentlemen.
There he is.
Woohoo! Yeah. So
He's a
Jack
big
Man-
dude. I mean, he's like a good couple inches taller than Arnold there.
Yeah. You wouldn't really expect Terry Crews to be taller than Arnold because Arnold always just
know they have the
looks
same
like a
birthday?
hulking figure. Really?
They have the same birthday. Yeah, I look because
Oh,
I
it's a
noticed
year,
that when
though.
I was looking up. Not the same year, no, but the same birth date.
No. That's
Cool.
pretty cool, man. So Black Arnold meets normal Arnold and tells him that he has to come with him if he wants to live, basically. But he's gonna die. And so on the right we meet what's her name? Talia Ellsworth, and Vincent is played by Terry Crews. So their job is to come and get Arnold. Of course, the issue is he's already seen his clone, so that's the first fuck up from their end. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna kidnap him and they're gonna kill him. But the doll gets it first, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God for that. The doll gets
But
it.
the doll doesn't get it fully here. She's still alive. She survives this and gets it again.
Yep.
They really went in on this doll. It's great.
No, yeah. They made the most ugly thing ever just to be able to shoot it. It's like, yep. And now I do have a clip without audio, so this one is a minute and a half long, so we can unmute and talk over it. It is the car chase. All right. So yeah, I love the guns in this movie. I do love the fact that it has the practical flares just popping out of them, which are pretty cool.
Yeah,
they're a bit
shoot,
OP,
like some kind of plasma stuff.
Yeah, the plasma stuff is pretty good, pretty well made as well.
Yeah,
and,
you don't need anything but a handgun in this universe too. Later on, they show that it could just shoot through anything and it can just blow up anything it shoots. You don't need anything bigger than this handgun.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I never saw a machine gun in the movie. Just
no, they don't have anything else. You just need these pistols. They're super powerful.
They probably didn't have the budget to make more
True.
powerful things than this.
True. Just to say, the suspension on these cars, man, they would have been fucked a while ago, to be honest.
Yeah. I love the idea
Well,
as well.
actually,
Like this is such an American thing that you can just drive straight through houses because they're made of wood.
Yep.
Try that in the UK. The car is fucking destroyed when it hits its first
I
house.
was actually going to mention that Uninspired always makes fun of American houses, so you just hit that one right on the head for him.
Dude, I'm telling you, American, I don't even understand, man. Why do you build houses that are made to just be destroyed? To be honest, it's so weird.
Because then we just rebuild them when they're destroyed. It's a whole racket that we have going on here.
It's like, man, I can't understand why my house keeps getting destroyed by tornadoes. What'd you build it out of? Wood. Well, no, guys, you never heard of bricks.
I'll throw this one out at you. We also build our roads to be complete pieces of shit too that get destroyed, and then it's all about making jobs.
To America.
None of you guys ever heard a little? Oh man, none of you guys ever heard of? I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down, dude.
Yeah.
Nah.
None of you.
Nah, we were just like, fuck that shit. We're just gonna make the houses to fall over, and we'll build a new house, and we'll charge twice as much as the old house. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
America.
You have a better chance of stopping it with bricks, man.
I'll tell you one thing: if a brick house gets picked up by a tornado, there's a lot more dead people about 2 miles away from that tornado.
Yeah, but I mean, only let's say 40% of the house would be gone, maybe.
The roof, probably.
Yeah, the
walls,
roof.
I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah, no matter what you do, a roof has to be made of wood. You can't really make a roof out of bricks. It would be too heavy.
Yeah.
You gotta have some sort of framing of wood on the roof.
But it isn't like because I don't know, man. It's always just fascinated me since I was a kid. These American wood-made houses. When I see videos of people just running through a wall, I'm like, man, if I do this in my house, I'm dead. Like I probably have a concussion.
Yeah, because it's like all the internal walls are just plasterboard, so you can punch your fist right through it if you want to. But again, try that here. Like you've got a broken hand right there, bud.
I'm sorry, you guys have standards. I'm sorry.
It's just because our houses are generally older, and like they had to build them out of stone back then.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is we built so many houses so quick over the years. It's like now, especially in New Jersey, where I'm from, you'll get an influx of thousands and thousands of people who just want a house, and it's just got to build it as fast as possible. If you built them out of stone and all this stuff, it would take way too. First of all, masonry is so expensive. But they just have to build these houses and these condos and all this stuff as quickly as possible for the most part.
Yikes. Well, no wonder they get blown down in a second. But speaking of getting blown down in a second, you've got Arnold in the sky. Look, he's diving. He's free-falling.
He flies.
I thought of it as more of a reference to when he falls off the cliff in Predator. I felt like they were just kind of trying to play all of the the greatest hits from his career at this point. It was like, okay, he fell off a cliff, and people remember him falling off that cliff. Let's just put that in there.
Yeah, because I mean, this stunt was actually pretty good. The car stunt, you can tell that it wasn't a miniature. They actually launched if it was a miniature, they fooled me because it was pretty good. And even Arnold just jumping in there, you can tell there was a stuntman just doing the dive, which Yeah, I'd say the stunts in this movie pretty good, but the budget was the budget was huge in this, right? And how much? What was the percentage that
Well,
went to Arnold?
Yeah, so
I'll look it up.
25 million was Arnold's salary, right? And the budget was only 96. So you're talking like a quarter of the budget went on Arnold alone.
Man, damn, that dude had a payday.
I mean,
Dude.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like this movie would have done better with like a cheaper actor, like someone who was younger and could do more stuff physically. And then you would have had so much more than for doing other things like special effects, whatever, you know.
Tom Cruise would have did this. He'd been like, I get to jump off of a cliff and drive through a house. Sign me up.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'll be like, no, there'll be a stuntman. He's like, say again?
He's like,
what
what
is
is
this
stuntman?
Stuntman.
Stuntman. I've never heard of a stuntman.
Well, one
What's a
good thing that
stuntman?
happened of all the things that came out of Arnold, shrinking from his surgery, they were able to find more and more stuntmen that could fill in for him, because for years that was a problem. So
True. Yeah. True. And so he manages to escape from them. How does he survive? I don't know. I'd probably be dead if I was in this situation. But Arnold's chiseled body, he had like Superman muscle strength, just defending them.
It's that great California water, or where the hell they are. I don't know. That's where all the water was for the fires, right there. Arnold was like, "No, we have to divert it for my stunts."
So we're in front of the genetic research lab where they're having a party, and of course there's the protesters around protesting as always. And so
Well, they wouldn't be protesters if they weren't protesting.
Well, yeah, dude. It's weird because here we have an expression saying. So in French, it's manifester, c'est le passe-temps préféré des Français. And
okay, speak a real language.
And so it basically just translates to like the French people's favorite pastime is just protesting, which is true. Because French people protest for the littlest thing because they can get days off work, which are paid sometimes. So just
isn't there like a saying about French people? It's like, how can you possibly govern a people that have 300 different kinds of cheese? It's probably true.
Most of them are good.
That's why here we don't even have cheese. We just put a bunch of salt and fat together and call it cheese, and we're like, get the fuck to work.
You guys have fucking government cheese in underground caves, dude. That's what you guys have in America.
You get like the individual wrapped American cheese. Those are
God, that's just a little square of chemicals right there.
Yeah, if you get off of a block, it's actual cheese. It's just
I hate that, dude. I mean, while we're talking about cheese, I went to visit the Les Caves du Roquefort, and so it's basically Roquefort is blue cheese, and so I went to visit the caves where they actually made them and found it for the first time and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, man.
Being that hungry that you went into a cave and was like, look at this blue and white.
The mold makes it extra tasty.
Dude, that's actually the story that they told us about how it was made. It was like, the dude saw that it was moldy. He thought it was cool, man, and that's just what it became. So I guess
I love how this. It's great how this conversation's gone from like interior house design to like cheese.
Hey, that's amazing, man. That's just the way we do it around here. It never stays on top.
That's what makes live streams so fun. I love it.
But yeah, man. Go try some blue cheese if you haven't. And if you don't like blue cheese in itself because it's too pungent, try some blue cheese sauce with like chicken wings or something like that. You probably like it.
Why does this cheese have tentacles? Why is this
blue cheese on its own? I only have that if I'm really drunk on port, and then you put it on like crackers or something. Like that's the only way I can
never get behind blue cheese, even with like hot wings. I mean, I don't really need anything to cool off wings. I have an insane heat tolerance, but even if I do want something, it's always ranch dressing. I can't do blue cheese. It's just not my thing.
Americans and their ranch.
Ranch dressing is fucking awesome.
French are gross.
Yeah. Oh man, Frencher with blue cheese.
The French invented dining al fresco, which was just an excuse because they wanted to eat all the stuff that was outside.
True.
We're like, hey, let's eat these snails that are in the garden. Definitely this is gonna be delicious.
Yeah, listen, snails are actually pretty good, man. I won't lie. Snails are pretty good. I have some in the fridge right now. They're delicious. Okay. just
Anyway, Robert Duvall. Speaking of French names,
Anyway, the movie.
yeah, Robert Duvall is here, ladies and gentlemen. We finally see Robert Duvall, and yeah, so this is the CEO, as I was saying before, Michael Drucker. Robert Duvall is Doctor. What's his name? Dr. Griffin Weir. That's his name. Yep.
That's it. Weird. Yeah.
Robert Duvall he was kind of like Gene Hackman in his later career, where it's like he would just show up in movies that were clearly not good enough for him. Like,
Yeah,
Say that,
really
Drinker.
great
Gene
actor,
Hackman
but-
was considered for the role, actually.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not surprised actually.
Ah, cool. I mean, the last time I saw Robert Duvall, I think was in, if I remember correctly, he had like a little cameo in Horrible Bosses, that comedy with Jason Bateman.
His best movie is, in my opinion, of randomness. Well, if not Step Brothers, then what was it? Fun with Dick and Jane, where he's just drunk the whole movie. He may have actually been drunk the whole movie.
He probably was, definitely was.
I remember seeing him in The Road. You know that really depressing like Viggo Mortensen movie. So he shows up in that in a little cameo, and to be fair, he absolutely crushes it as an actor.
Oh, it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Like a totally random moment for him.
Dude,
He's got
is-
that. He's one of those like guys who, no matter what he's in, he's kind of got the Michael Caine syndrome, where he treats it as like a classical, traditional
like
acting role, no matter the movie he's in.
Yeah, he comes into it like a true thespian. That's pretty much it. He sells everything. But yeah, so right now they're having their conference, and they're talking about genetics and all that nonsense. And look, he's back, man. It's Johnny Phoenix. Yeah, with
Looking good, Johnny.
yeah, it's looking good with, I guess, one of the Jetsons next to him with a huge hair, pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
what they imagined like women were going to be styled like in 2015.
Oh yeah, we lost big hair a while ago.
I know.
Oh,
In
man.
reality, she should just have a shaved head and like a face full of metal.
Yeah, the shaved head is blue too for some reason.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so of course, right now, well, this is the Speaker of the House, if I remember correctly, and so the Speaker of the House is talking with Michael Drucker, and what they're discussing is, of course, trying
I
to.
stand corrected. Sorry, that was Richard Jenkins in Fun with Dick and Jane. I'm sorry, they look a lot alike, guys. I'm not seeing that movie.
Oh,
I stand corrected. I apologize. They're about the same age too. They look very similar.
yeah, he's 94 now. Someone said in the chat.
That's
Jesus.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
Whoa.
sorry, I stand corrected.
And so yeah, so what he's saying is he's trying to convince the Speaker of the House to, of course, legalize human cloning, but he's doing it in a very suave way because the Speaker of the House has his son who is going to die of, I think it's terminal cancer or something like
Yeah,
that.
brain cancer.
Yeah, and so he's
I
basically
love how Drucker is like, yes. And what if a child is dying of brain cancer? Then the Speaker of the House goes up and is like, my son's dying of brain cancer. He's like, aha, what are the odds?
What a
Yeah.
coincidence.
You don't say.
Yeah, and so he's basically just convincing the Speaker of the House, and he's telling him that everything needs to be under the books, under wraps, and of course, yeah, he's looking for a way to start legalizing it, and he does show him the facility later on, which we get a glimpse of what these human
Yeah, these are like the blank
Yeah.
clones that don't have the genetic imprint on them yet.
the pre-cooked clones, basically.
They're essentially just full-grown fetuses. That's basically what they are.
Yep.
They're alive, but they are actually like alive in there. They show that later. They're not dead in there. It's not like they actually can awaken and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, one opens its eyes later on. I was kind of put aback by that because I thought that it was waking up, but no, it's kind of like the Matrix. They're just in their amniotic sacs.
Well, it's honestly, I feel like it's more like the Judge Dredd, the one that had Sylvester Stallone in it.
Stallone one, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it has that kind of feel to it.
yeah. This is better than the hybrid from Alien and Romulus. Actually, anything is better than Alien and Romulus, to be honest with you.
Oh my god, I got so much shit for hating that movie up front. Like I just and
No,
then everyone
you'll be proven right in the long run, man. You'll be
Yeah.
Oh no, I was proven right eventually. I just remember because I did that. I was on Open Bar that week, and everyone was like, "This guy's a fucking idiot," and I was like, "I haven't seen the movie yet." I'm like, how can you call me an idiot? You haven't even seen
I mean,
it
that
yet.
happens every time, to be fair, but like, this was unfair.
And so yeah, so we move back to Adam Gibson, who of course is at the police station trying to report everything, and they have everything for him. And so what they say is that he's basically reported vehicle theft, of course, which was his other version at the house. And so, yeah, what was it? 1957 Cadillac. Damn.
Yeah, it was a. I didn't know what year, but it was a 50s Cadillac. I mean, that would have probably driven through some stone too. Those things were made of steel.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, we have a random ass hologram lawyer. It's like, I love how it just pops up and says, "Yeah, don't say anything. My client is my client. Just don't speak if you don't want to."
The better one is definitely the psychiatrist.
It just pops up.
It's so funny, right? Because although this movie is like 2000, so well, actually it's 25 years ago now, but man, it's like the more they try to progress technology in these movies, like the further ahead they try to look, the more dated they end up looking as a result.
True. Yep.
Stuff like this.
Yeah, it's weird.
More like
Maybe it'll come back in the future, I guess.
Boosh, more like an email ordered lawyer, because it wasn't even a real person. It was just a digital hologram version of someone who may have existed at some point.
True. Yeah. And so
my favorite thing about, before you move on, my favorite thing about the psychiatrist is the first thing it says is, "You're not talking about your parents."
Yeah, it's just talking about
Tell me about your mother.
parents' issues. Yeah, directly. It's like the stereotypical thing. And of course, hey man, they're trying to catch him, so boom, he just becomes a psychiatric patient. So they have to lock him up. And so yeah, they gotta lock him up. And in the meanwhile, I do have a little clip without audio. So this is the first time that we see the cooking of one of the clones. And so the way that the process works, which I think is pretty cool. It's decent. It's well made.
See, it's great. Like the movie obviously like kills one of the henchmen so that we can get a little example of how this actually works, the whole process.
Yeah.
I do like that she reacts to the last thing that she would have seen.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yeah. They cover up
Is
her
there a
boobs.
boob in there?
Nope, they cover it up. They cover it
I
up.
was wondering if I was going to have to go back and alter some things in the recording.
They covered it up, man. It's weird. For an R-rated movie, they cover up the boobs. It's like, come on, man.
But yeah, like people getting limbs shot off and stuff, that's fine.
Yep.
Sarah Winter was
Well,
actually pretty hot back in the day. That's the actress.
Yeah, she was.
We had this discussion once. It's American versus European sentiments toward this. It's like, we're all about, you just blow shit up, show dead bodies everywhere, people getting shot up. We're like, yeah, that's cool, but do you show one fucking titty?
Yeah, Americans are weirdly puritanical about nudity, whereas like go to any beach in Europe and there'll probably be topless women there.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
but you flip that out. The script gets flipped when it comes to, we lost Drinker. Okay, we'll just talk about this for a bit. I'm sure her boobs were really nice. We'll Drinker's back.
I'm here. Don't worry.
I
had to go away for a couple of minutes, but me.
He was like, "Yeah, we're not. There was too much talk about boob." He had to run off to a beach to see some topless women there.
It was great.
But yeah, it's like you flip the script. Like European sentiment towards violence in movies is usually what drives up the ratings. So
I think countries like Germany seem to be more like that.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they don't like war now. Change days, huh?
Yeah, dude. I mean, France. You go to the beach, the titties are everywhere, man. I won't even lie. Here, I think France is probably one of the #1 places in Europe where we don't really care about nudity.
Well, they had that joke in Home Alone where it's like they got nude beaches. He's like, not in the winter.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it shocked me the first time I came here when I was in 2010, I think. It was just a little kid running on the beach. And then I saw topless women. I was like, whoa, what is this?
You're like, this is so much better than Africa.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Dude, for real.
Sarah Winter didn't really have like a crazy long career or like a lot of stuff. She was kind of sporadic. She did a lot of TV stuff. I looked it up earlier because I was trying to remember what I knew her from specifically. It was Species 2 of all things was the thing that was coming to mind.
It was 24. I kept seeing her in.
Yeah, she was I mean, it's not like she's not. I don't think she's retired or anything, but she isn't as widespread of an actress as you would have expected.
Oh, come on! Like, I think we all know, like, when an actress hits 40, like they probably retire, like, unless they're
she's 52 now, and she was in. It's hard to find, so she doesn't even have it on her Wikipedia. You actually have to go to her IMDb to see her filmography, and it's not particularly long. I mean, she only has 42. Things, and most of them are one-off episodes for TV shows. She only did a handful of films, so surprising because she was, she kind of fit the mold of what people they were looking for at that point. So
true. But yeah, of course, she wakes up. They fill her in. Well, she's filled in already because she has her memories back. And Wile Coyote, he's a fucking dumbass for just shooting everyone. And I guess every time they die. I think, what does he say? Michael Drucker says that it cost him 1.3 million. So
something like that,
yeah. These are pretty expensive clones, man. Pretty expensive clones.
And that's so. Let's do some quick calculations. They're supposed to take place in 2015. Let's see what that would be now. 2015.
1.3 million.
That was just about get you a house now.
Yeah,
probably. Sure. Yeah, you can keep going. I'll find out what it is.
And of course, Arnold, being Arnold, he realizes that he's locked up, and so he has to break out, and that's what he does. But he meets Wiley outside, who didn't want to go inside because he still had the feeling of being run over, which they keep telling him it's psychological, but I just think that it adds to that aspect of how horrible it feels, because you feel. You actually die and you feel that you've died. That's the thing. And I love the line that he says later on too, where he says, I never see any white light. I never see anything. It's just, he wakes up and he's a clone. That's pretty much it.
Well, he wouldn't see that anyway. His brain gets scanned at the last minute of life, not technically after death. So it's one point.
Definitely, it plays into this like question of like, well, if you can replicate a person just using essentially you can digitize them and then download their memories into a new body. What even is a person really, if that's all they are?
Yeah,
electricity. We're electricity.
Yeah, but like particularly for that time, it was quite a bold thing to come out with in a movie, and I feel like in a lot of ways, this movie's trying to grapple with stuff that's a lot bigger and more intelligent than it can really handle for like a big dumb action movie.
I agree with that. There's a lot of really cool concepts in the movie, but I don't think that they had the right writers, or there was things that they could have done to make it a little bit more deep. It's very surface level for these concepts.
They just present it, but they don't go any further.
The only characters who kind of go really deep in on that is the Trip guy, the one that tries to, the one that kills. What's his name?
Yeah, the one that kills Hank. Yeah. Well, the guy that kills Hank and Michael at the beginning.
It's weird though, because he kills Michael Drucker. It's the dumbest plan ever. This is the guy who clones people. Like you're not going to do anything. You're killing nothing. You're killing killing one form. They're just going to clone him,
which they have already. The guy that he killed wasn't even the original; it was a clone.
So it was a dumb plan that didn't really serve any purpose.
Well, I didn't really know. He was limited in his information. He tried what he could, man.
He was like, "I'm American. I just shoot and ask questions later."
Yeah. Speaking of shooting and asking questions later, Arnold is just out here doing it the Austrian way and snapping necks, dude. Pretty much. He's like, yeah, actually just snap. I love how they have to come and pick him up and hold his tongue in place. It's like, no, he's not dead. His neck isn't broken.
He's just sleeping.
There's still pulse. It's like, all right.
Because they kind of give like the henchmen more personality and more backstory than they really need to in this.
Yeah.
Like you almost like feel like they're part of the story now. Like they're not just like a bunch of faceless guns that are just there to be mown down. They're actually got personalities of their own.
Especially Michael Rooker's character and Talia, who played by Sarah Winter, and Wiley, of course. I feel like they kind of left Terry Crews onto the side a
little bit, yeah.
It's just like, all right, but of course, Michael Rooker just carries the entire henchman squad with Wiley.
Well, Terry Crews is barely. Oh, go back one slide real quick. The police lieutenant. That's Maria Shriver's brother. The one in the suit, the lieutenant there. That's her. Her brother.
I recognize him. Cool. And, oh wait, where was I? Oh, there we go. Yeah, having a virtual holographic, realistic sex, I guess. Because when the Arnold sits down, he says, "Hey, my pants are already unzipped. I didn't do anything." So yeah, this is all you can feel.
She's set to thirsty mode.
I mean, like, so she's a hologram, but she can physically touch him.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. I don't get how that works, but
Sure, yeah,
I
think that's why they. I think that's why they don't physically show it happening, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, it makes sense in something like Ready Player One, where they have the suit, where you can specifically, you're wearing the suit, so if someone touches you, you can, But in this one, it's like you're not really wearing anything; you're just strapped, and you have the thing on your head, pretty much.
They even say it early on that he only in his brain patterns that are telling him he's being touched. So technically, she shouldn't be doing anything really. It should just be his mind thinks it's happening, so to say.
Yeah. So it's weird the fact that it unzips you. I don't know, maybe the chair has like mini arms or something like that that's doing all the work.
Oh,
it's possible, but yeah.
Now we're getting weird.
But of course, Arnold pops in, and Arnold is telling him, well, Hank is actually filling Arnold in the fact that he missed his party and he didn't know what happened. He just woke up and he was home. So, of course, Hank has been cloned, and Arnold doesn't really realize that yet. So he gets told later on by Trip. But now what they're doing is they're discussing, well, Arnold's just filling him in, and so they decide to go to Arnold's house, and Arnold versus Arnold almost happens. I will admit the techniques that they used to have Arnold and Arnold together are pretty good. Pretty seamless. So, I liked it.
Fun fact, he was nominated for 3 Razzie Awards for this movie. By the way, I'm just going to highlight this that because I saw it twice. 7 clone. I don't remember them saying that in the movie, but I'll take your word for it. I don't remember them saying a 7 clone max. He was nominated for Worst Actor, the real Adam, the Worst Supporting Actor, the fake Adam or the clone Adam, and Worst On-Screen Couple. They lost all of those awards to I think it was there was some other movie that did it. But ironically enough was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Actor, so I don't know how that happens.
Wow.
Really? For this movie?
Rick's being full of shit? Who would have thought?
Well, the Saturn Awards are specific to just like horror movies and action movies for the most part, so it doesn't take into account those Oscar baiting dramas and stuff.
Right.
Oh, well, of course, Arnold doesn't go through with killing Arnold, and someone in the chat said this technically count as suicide. I guess, one way. So it's just one way to look at it. But just before he attacks, of course, Clara comes out, and so he decides to put her to bed. While, of course, the other Arnold is in the garage with his wife, smoking a stogie and trying to have sex in the minivan. So he's living the life.
He is, he's living his best life right there.
Yeah. Arnold and his wife, every time they're on screen, the only thing they want to do is have sex, man. At the beginning of the movie, that's pretty much what they want to do until the little girl. Yeah,
there's nothing that middle-aged parents want more than to just shag constantly.
Let's sneak out into the garage and then sneak into the minivan. Well, that's probably far enough away, right? Do we have to drive the minivan down to the river?
It's like never ends. It's like we park the minivan. Let's sneak into the woods.
So of course he poses as the real Arnold while they come and knock on the door and ask if there's been any weird disturbances. But
still wearing the same jacket that they saw him in earlier.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's like these dudes are really incompetent, or maybe it's the amount of times they've been cloned. They just get dumber every time. Probably.
I mean, they know that he owns that jacket, so maybe the original version still has it. I don't know. Like they wouldn't necessarily put 2 and 2 together and think, oh, this is definitely the clone we're dealing with here.
She's got Arnold at home, but she actually, but in this instance, saying that we have X at home is the same thing.
True, yeah.
Yeah. So of course they managed to make it out of the house without the real Arnold, technically, without the real Arnold detecting them. And so they managed to go back to Hank's house. And, you know, Hank is just chilling. He's asking, he's filling Arnold in about what he saw his original version doing with his wife. This is where the best line comes. It's like, yeah, he's smoking your stogie. My stogie? Oh, no.
Michael Rappaport is over there being like, I'm one of the most annoying people in Hollywood, so I'm just going to keep talking until they shoot me.
I mean, he does.
Well, there he is. Getting shot.
It is kind of satisfying because he talks like, I don't know what his line delivery is like. It's like he's reading off the teleprompter and he's angry at it. Like, that's kind of what you get from him.
That's the New Yorker in him.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, Michael Rappaport is better at doing just random improv skits than he is at acting. Which is why I was really surprised to see him in this movie.
He's very New York. He doesn't shy away from it, so he just sounds angry all the time, even when he's trying to have fun. And it is a little off-putting. I think that's one of the reasons he never really made it. I mean, all of his weird opinions aside, I don't think he really was ever going to make it because he wasn't able to shed that. He was always going to get typecast.
True.
I think you picked such a good screen grab here as well. Like, it's like he's been shot and he totally doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, I'm just chilling, man.
With the laser guns. Oh man. So Hank is dead. He's proper dead this time. He's not coming back. They needed to kill Michael Rappaport. And
he's fighting Steven Seagal here.
Yeah. Trip with two P's, ladies and gentlemen. Trip with two P's. Okay. Looking as gangsters as always. He's a Crip. You can see it right there.
No, he's super Christian too. That's the crazy part about this. Is I'm surprised they didn't give him a headband, like a bandana that was like all crucifixes or something.
Yeah, this just made him look like a random ass dude. And he's trying to fight Arnold, but I mean, you're fighting Arnold, so you're gonna get thrown around and fucked up. So yeah, stereotypical New Yorker. Yeah, Michael Rappaport is. Yeah,
he really is. I mean, you hear him when he's not in movies. He's even worse. He's
a bit heavy in real life, isn't he?
Apparently,
I'm sorry. I'm just saying he's a bit of an insufferable prick in real life, from what I've seen.
Yeah, so for a little while he was doing like sports-based things. He would show up on a lot of New York radio shows and talk about the Giants and the Knicks and teams he liked, and those segments would go over like they were just they were always, people would tune out to them, so they stopped asking him to come back. Just no one wanted to hear from him.
Right.
Damn. All right. Well, so of course this dude fills him in. He says that Michael Drucker, of course, who's the CEO, was already a clone. He says that Hank is a clone. He says that he's been cloned, and of course, basically everything that we know, he's telling it to the characters. And of course, they found him, and he decides to kill himself because Arnold doesn't want to do it. Basically, and it's because he wants to shoot himself in the head specifically because he has info that will endanger the scientists at the genetic research facility. And basically, you have to destroy your brain so that they don't get that info out of you after your death. And now
they have like 12 hours to replicate your memories or something like that. They mentioned it during the RePet scene.
Yep. Now, of course, I do have a clip. This one does have audio, so no need to unmute ourselves. All right.
Doesn't anyone stay dead anymore? He shot my friend.
8, 7, 6,
Son of a...
5.
Get
Please select destination.
You're gonna pay! Those are brand new boots!
That was brilliant. I love when he shoots his foot off, like the foot stays standing up.
Yeah. Just doesn't move.
I just want to, before we move completely on from Michael Rappaport for the rest of the movie, I just want to highlight this one here.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
satisfying. He's died in a lot of movies actually.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that they just I wouldn't be shocked if he shows up and the character isn't supposed to be killed off, and then they're just like, you know what, we've changed the script a little bit. We want you to
He's
leave
so
a little
fucking
early.
annoying.
Like today's your final day on set, Mike. Done.
Mhm.
All right. You
You
get killed.
decided you're gonna take this death scene. We're gonna extend the character who hasn't had a speaking role in the entire movie.
Dude, I love the way the Michael Rooker just screams and falls back. It's the way that he falls back that made me absolutely laugh.
Best part is that he goes,
He's kind of
he
like-
shot my foot.
Because he's kind of like hopping about on his one leg for a few seconds before he falls over.
Yeah, it's just hopping on one leg. He just has to get up, hop on one leg again. It's like, it's so brand new boots. It's like, yep.
That's what I mean. It's like I don't know if they were trying for a little bit of comedy there, or if it was just like unintentionally goofy and funny.
Probably unintentionally goofy, honestly.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
I wouldn't
think
be
as
shocked.
well, like watching Arnold just like playing an everyman like this. I feel like this is so not the role for him. Like,
Mhm.
'cause normally, like whatever role he's in will be like it'll somehow accommodate his superior strength. That allows him to like overpower people or turn the tables or whatever. But here, like he's just playing a pretty normal dude, and like that aspect of him never really comes into it. And I feel like someone like Bruce Willis or something at that time probably would have played this a lot better. He would have been better suited to a role like this.
Well, someone who already with the physicality that isn't as imposing as Arnold's, I think, would have been better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
It is
number
hard to
one
turn
thing.
off that concept of Arnold being this hulking because, like we've already said multiple times, he wasn't as big at this point physically. What was he? He probably was pushing 40 at this point, maybe even a little older than that.
Oh no, at this point he was well into his 50s.
Was he? I don't even. Well, yeah, I guess 2000.
Like he was born in like 47, I think. So
Oh,
he
yes,
was in like
he was
53 when he did this movie.
Yeah, he was in his 50s. Yeah, you're right.
And
And
that's not old, but like obviously, like,
No,
he
it's
had
not.
heart
It's not.
surgery and
It's
he
not
wasn't as
geriatric.
big.
Mm.
But,
No,
like, he
so it's
still-
go ahead.
yeah, he still had like the Arnold mystique around him. Like when you went to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you kind of knew what you were expecting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird to see him in a role like this, where it's like, yeah, he's playing an everyday dude. He's still got the physique of Arnold, the fucking Terminator. So you're like, oh, okay.
Well, that's the negative of that. So he was able to play off of that for so long that when he couldn't really hang his hat on that anymore, he had to lean into the comedy aspects of a lot of his characters. Which all things considered, he's still pretty funny. Like he has moments, and his one-liners tend to be pretty good.
He's got a good sense of like deadpan comedy. That's why he was able to do things like Junior and Twins and stuff. Like he is, like he can play off as just like the big goofy like muscle man sort of thing. Like he's able to make fun of himself in a way that someone like Stallone was never able to. But yeah, what they're trying to do here is something different, where it's like they don't really want you to laugh at him. They want you to take him seriously as a more like vulnerable guy, like an everyman who's in a completely extraordinary situation. And
they do eventually. Oh, God. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it asks more than he can deliver, like as an actor, and it doesn't really fit with his persona as a star.
They do eventually have to write off why he's able to do a lot of these things too. Later in the movie, they wait a really long time to kind of explain it too, because he up to this point all we know about him is that he's a pilot. That doesn't necessarily mean he was in any kind of military. That could just be a commercial pilot. That's and eventually when he's making bombs and he's been shooting people the whole movie, they need to tell you like, oh yeah, I was in this. I think what they call it was like some weird war, they say. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was the Rainforest War, they say. And so they have to at least throw in a throwaway line about why he's able to do some of these things, because without that, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I did just post a link to a video in the chat. It's Bruce Willis, Arnold, and Stallone. They're basically all three of them on the same couch. They're doing a little interview with I forget the name of the viewer.
That was probably around when they opened up Planet Hollywood, I would assume.
I think so, yeah, because at that point, Arnold and Willis had just had kids, and Stallone hadn't had a kid yet. Because they joke about that in the interview. So yeah, if you guys have time, do check it out. It's a nice 2-minute clip. It's fun to see all three of them talking about their careers.
Oh
and,
God, it's Terry Wogan. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
him.
there you go. Yeah,
like he's a British like interviewer.
Yeah, so they're talking about like their experiences and why they chose different genres. Arnold was basically saying same as Bruce and same as Stallone. They were just saying that the reason why they wanted to change genres mostly to their careers is because it just wouldn't be fun doing one role or doing just one genre.
I don't know. Making a shit ton of money to do the same thing over and over again sounds great to me.
I think what they were probably going for there was like that. It was like that tacit acknowledgement of because this interview was done in '91, and I think they were probably realizing by that point, yeah. So like the big '80s macho action movies are not really a thing anymore. Like people aren't liking them so much now. We need to pretend like we're voluntarily moving on to other things. Yep. When in reality, it's just necessity. People were just not gravitating towards that so much anymore, and they were trying to rebrand themselves as something else.
We were switching to buddy comedies at the time. Well, action buddy comedies most of all, which is where, of course, we got spawned Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3, which probably the last really great modern buddy action comedy movies were Rush Hour.
Just throwing this out there, Amelia Bedelia. Fucking ugly housekeeper. Bad taste is his go-to.
I mean, I do have to say, like, if you were Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, you could have your pick of any woman on the planet practically, and you choose a.
I think that was the genius of it. That's why he got away with it for so long. No one would have expected that. Yeah. It wasn't until she birthed out this.
Truly, he's done the unexpected, but at what cost?
And then she shot out this kid who looks exactly like him, just with a slightly better tan.
He's a Mexican Arnold, basically.
Yeah.
It was a power move.
Yeah.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No one would think this.
So back to the movie, we have Arnold inspecting his cut, which of course he had done in the morning when he was shaving, because he likes to shave the old-fashioned way, which is his way of thinking that he is the original, which, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, he is in fact
ironically enough. I tried my best because I usually shave before these streams.
You fucked up, didn't you?
No, I tried to fuck up on purpose and I couldn't. I don't know. I usually cut myself.
Razors are too safe.
Yeah, modern razors.
I should have went and bought like a $2 Bic razor and tried to do it. I was like, fuck, of all the times I want to cut.
Yeah. And so we do go back to Robert Duvall for a second. And so we learned that his wife, who's named Catherine in this movie, so we learned that she's dying of I forget what it is, but it's something. Cystic
fibrosis. Dying in this movie, Jesus.
Yeah, she's just dying. And the reason why is because there was a failsafe. So she is a clone, and she knows that she's a clone. And there's a failsafe that basically the input where all the clones have a very small lifespan. And so she's dying because of that. And so, of course, naturally, he is angry at Michael Drucker, who's the CEO. And at this point, this is where he finds out all of what I just mentioned before.
It's planned obsolescence, essentially. Man,
it's exactly what
products to a T.
That's what Daniel B said in the
chat. Yeah.
Almost exactly when you said it.
And
and her Pacifilus AIDS is what she has. But cystic fibrosis usually only affects children, if I recall correctly. That's how he knows that it doesn't make sense.
Yes, that's what the doctor tells him. Yeah. So it's weird for it to be in a it's
first of all, it's not particularly common, and then it's even way more uncommon in adults.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so that's where he sees that the lifespan is, I think, 5 to 7 years for a lot of the clones, including, of course,
5 years. 2 to
Oh,
5
2 to
years.
5.
She listed.
Yeah, depending on which ones. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was,
It's
and
all
then
to keep him
John.
in line, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he'll keep coming back for
Oh,
more
it's to
clones.
keep all of them in line, basically. It's because what is it? Drucker's theory is that what if one of these politicians that we've signed a back room deal with go back on that deal, we would have to have some sort of leverage.
Yeah. Again, like there's some interesting moral conundrums that this movie plays with, but man, it just does not take the time to like see them through
At all. Yeah, just kind of mentions them, and that's pretty much it. I do wish that this is a movie that I think could actually benefit of a remake. That could be pretty cool because there's a lot of stuff that you can explore, which I think should be the goal of remakes in general, or because there's a lot of stuff that you can rewrite, you can reintegrate, you can even just remake the story pretty well to just explore those ideas even more.
So
yeah.
Amelia, yes, they do retain the memories, but only up to the poster shows Arnold in this contraption. It kind of looks like crazy sunglasses, and what it does is it takes essentially a photo of the brain, all the memories.
It's
up
like
to
a
that
save point in the game, so like you
Yes.
retain all your memories up until that point.
Yeah, and then anything after that would not be there anymore. So that actually does play a role in the movie a little bit, but not as much as you would expect.
Yep. And so now they're going to, of course, they're heading up to the genetics headquarters. That's what I'm going to call it. And she doesn't have any fingers anymore because Arnold shot them off, and that's what he's using to get inside the genetic facility to meet up with Dr. Griffin.
She's been cloned again, though, hasn't she? I think they've like cloned her again to like give her
fingers
all her appendages back.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I'd be kind of pissed off about because it's like I'm not that badly damaged. I don't need to be cloned again. It's like well, you need your hand.
We can do it. I mean, at this point, I would expect them to have technology where they could just refit your fingers or just reclone a limb.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with his leg that got shot off.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't even realize that he had his leg back already. Yep.
Well, in theory, they would, because the whole thing, sorry, I just had to step away for a second, but yeah, they have recloned her. What they would have, the whole cover story here is that they're just growing organs. So yes, they would in theory be able to grow body parts too. It's just the whole actual cloning process is on the hush hush.
Yeah. Yep.
I like that super chat there as well, because is there not a point when he walks into the building and like he's trying to like scan the thumbprint and he drops it.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, I'm all thumbs today.
Yeah. It's like I don't even know. It must have been so we couldn't even have put it in like a bag or something. Literally just in his jacket pocket. That's where he kept it.
My favorite is how he even gets in with the gun. He's like, yes, you might want to wear these because there's lower intestines with a flesh-eating virus inside this igloo cooler.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's just fun. It's weird, especially for a movie that's trying to take itself seriously.
That's the thing. Like, that's the problem with this film. I'm never sure if I'm supposed to be taking it seriously or if I'm just supposed to be laughing at it. It's a strange, like, emotional tone that it sets.
Yeah,
the answer is yes.
you just laugh at it, you laugh with it, and you try and be serious when it tries to be serious.
That was late 90s, early 2000s for the most part. There was a lot of movies that couldn't really figure out what they wanted to be.
Yeah, he does show Arnold how it works. Yep, there it is. He's showing him everything, all the hard drives where everything is stored, how everything works, and basically that Michael Drucker himself has been cloned 3 times already. So yeah, he's our what's the name? He's our architect, basically. Yeah.
And I mean, yes, it's rotting, but it's not like he's had it for days. He's had it for a couple of hours. It's
and it would have been cauterized by the
laser
blast thing. So
technically it's dying, but
yeah. And the only reason that they find out that he's in the building is because when she tries to log into her well, of course, when she tries to log into the building, they find out that she's already logged in. So that's how they know that he's there. And now, of course, Dr. Weir is on Arnold's side at this point because of the fact that, well, his wife is a clone and she has the cystic fibrosis situation going on. Yeah, Daniel B says it best. Yep. Weir didn't care until it touched someone he loves. Exactly.
True. Yeah.
And so yeah, Arnold escapes. I love how he just pops it. Michael Rooker says, "I'm sorry." He's like, "Yep." Just leave him tied there. So yeah, Arnold escapes. He manages to leave, and what they're going to do is they're of course going to kidnap his family. So they come in with the dogs from Up, man. That's basically it.
Dobermans there.
Yeah, and reminds me of my Doberman I used to have. Yeah,
those aren't critical doggos right there. They're
not. No, they're too bulky for critical doggos. They're too energetic as well.
Yeah, those are those are active doggos.
Yeah. Active doggos, yeah. And so Terry Crews pulls up with the three dogs to kidnap, of course, Clara, who is at her recital, and so they manages to whisk her up from the recital while Arnold meets Arnold trying to make a call to the police, and Arnold beats up Arnold because.
How would you react to this, by the way, if you walked in the door?
There would be an element of what the fuck is going on? I'm beating up me.
It's weird because I would say maybe in this world you could assume that maybe it's a clone, but if it happened to me today, I would just assume that it was a lost twin. You know.
And to my knowledge, all of the critical doggos are greyhounds.
Yeah, both of them are. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know how many. I knew you had multiple. I didn't know how many you had.
There are multiple critical doggos. There are two.
Yeah, there's critical doggo 1 and critical doggo dos. They had to switch the language there.
So yeah, Lara's the first one, and then Smokey was the second one. It's funny actually because I saw a picture of Lara when I got her, and man, she's like twice the dog that she was back then. She's pretty bulky these days.
I want to get. Listen, I'm doing a stream. I'm going to do Homeward Bound, and I just want Critical Doggo on. I don't want you, Drinker. I just want you to put Doggo on.
You won't get very good banter out of the Doggo, but you know they look good.
It's fine. I mean, Critical Doggo is super popular though. Every time I've seen you put either one of them on any of your streams, they get way more attention than you.
I know.
People like love dogs, man. Yeah,
people like, fuck this guy. I just want to talk about that dog in the background.
Yeah.
My favorite moments are when you forget that the dog is behind you.
Yeah, well, sometimes like they'll stretch or something in the background. You just see this gaping mouth that suddenly appears behind you. Like, what the fuck's that?
All of a sudden, you're just in a horror movie you weren't expecting to be in.
Yeah.
All of Drinker's Resident Evil knowledge just comes rushing to him. It's like, shit.
Oh my god, they flew in through the window.
Quick, get the shotgun.
Might I add, you can avoid those window dogs in Resident Evil. I don't know if you know that, Drinker. If you just don't walk that particular direction on the camera, like toward the camera, it never happens. Fun fact.
I mean, you kind of have to progress down that hallway ultimately to get to like the next area or whatever.
Nah, you could go around. There's ways around. It's a mansion. There's lots of doors.
I mean, to be fair, like you're okay. You can just run straight through and not even bother fighting them because, like, by the time they burst through the windows, you'll be out of there anyway. So it's all right.
Yeah. So, of course, some clone on clone action. Yeah, how would you guys react, man? You just be like,
I'd probably, first of all, I'd have questions. That's the first thing, and then as soon as the questions were answered, I'd probably have a panic attack. I'd be like, wait, am I the real one or the fake one? Like, what's going on?
Dark Hour, let's be real, man. Once you see your clone, you probably just give him a jujitsu tackle and fuck him up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the best at takedowns, but that would be an interesting thing because I've always wondered what it would be like to fight myself.
I feel like it'd be a bit of a draw, really. It's like, damn, we're evenly matched here.
Because you would fight the same way and you think the same way too.
Yeah.
So
you go to punch each other at the same moment and end up hitting fists against each other.
Yeah. True. It's like one of the things I always tell my students for jiu-jitsu is because a lot of people try to compare themselves to other people. I'm like, no, compare yourself to yourself from a year ago. If you can beat the shit out of that person, you're doing the right thing. If you think that person can beat the shit out of you, you probably have to reevaluate what you've been doing.
There's a great comment from Bush McFadden there said you'd make out with yourself. I mean, you know, you're never going to get another opportunity, really, are you?
Nobody knows me like me, okay?
If you did, it would technically just be like masturbation, really.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
ain't gay
true.
if you're the same person.
Yeah,
True,
exactly.
true. And so he just tells him that Natalie and Clara have been kidnapped, and he does call Michael Drucker. Michael Drucker sets up a meeting point for an exchange, which of course is a bunch of nonsense. But they get together and they decide to do some bonding by building some bombs. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Thermite
What are
specifically is
Austrians
what
going to
they're
do?
Yeah, true. Yeah, thermites. And yeah, he tries the thermite. He goes through the table, and he knows that it's some solid thermite, and so they just make a shit ton to take
I like how
down
they
the
both look
entire
at each
facility.
other and just go, cool.
Yeah. Once it blows up,
Which is
that's how it
probably
goes.
what would happen more often than not if you were talking to a clone. You would probably finish each other's sentences a lot.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, 2 dark hours. Yeah, imagine having 2 dark hours. That would be insane.
I don't even want to have one dark hour. I don't.
Man, if there was 2 of me, imagine what damage I could do to the local bars. Amazing.
Scotland out of liquor. What's going on? The entire country of Scotland is just out.
Like, kick the door down, like a big army of drinkers walk in. I'm going to need all your beer.
Someone needs to animate that ASAP, man. That'd be cool.
Lagavulin now, and then another person kicks in the door. Also Lagavulin now.
Leave the bottle.
No. Want to go have sex with our wife?
I mean, if you could be at 2 places at once, I mean, that's just what?
True. Yeah, true. So, of course, Dr. Griffin is a dumbass in this scene because what do you expect? You wouldn't expect the dude to kill you after telling him that you want to resign, you don't want to do any of this shit anymore. I mean,
I'm
come
gonna
on, man.
expose your entire operation. What are you going to do about it? Well, shoot you.
It's almost like I could just make another one of you that's subordinate.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. What was he expecting? And the fact that he just falls down into the chair, surprised before he gets shot, it's like, dude, come on, man. I know that you're not that stupid.
I mean,
But-
it's Robert Duvall. You know, he's like 200 years old. You've got to sit
True.
him down before you shoot him.
True. He can't just do a fall.
Yeah. Break.
So of course they so Arnold brings in the decoy drone, the secondary drone that we had that was remote controlled, to the meetup, where of course they shoot directly the drone, they fuck it up, it explodes, and they realize that Arnold sent in the decoy while he himself goes back into the genetic facility. So right now they're both in the genetic facility. What they're doing is one of them is setting up the thermite, and the other one is, of course, having a meeting with Drucker. Now, having the meeting with Drucker, we get, of course, all the exposition that I've already said. And there we go. We finally learn that he is, in fact, the clone, because there's, I guess, 4 dots under your
Well,
eye.
it's one eye. There's 1 dot for every clone.
Okay, yeah,
level
every
you
time,
are.
yeah. That's
He has
it.
1. What is it? Sarah Winter's character, Talia, has
that's
4. Which,
4.
might I add, I love how every time she gets cloned, they change her color, her hair color. She's the only one that you could tell who is different. She starts with red hair, then she has green hair.
Well, yeah, because every time she gets cloned, she's got like a full head of like long hair, and she's like, "Fuck, I have to get it colored again and cut."
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd think that part of her contract would have been just have me show up bald and make sure you get all of my wigs back.
true. I do like the little detail that she has to that she pierces her ear to
Yeah, that
make
would
a
get
space for
infected.
her
Like,
earring,
oh,
too.
fuck, whatever.
Oh,
It's very
yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
That would. And so so he is in fact the clone. Dun dun dun. The huge twist, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
That was it. Unexpected. I know. And so they kind of force him to, well, give them all of his information that he has. And it's through that they find that, they try. It's through that they find out his plan with the other Arnold, of course, who's planning all the explosives. There he is, struggling with the Arnold face. This is the Total Recall Martian face.
It really
right
is. Yeah. He's wild eyes there.
Ooh. And
Have
now,
to use my teeth.
and of course, while he does that, he distracts everyone, and the second Arnold manages to escape by using Drucker as a meat shield, who of course gets shot by Wiley because Wiley's just a fucking dumbass, to be honest. I don't know why they keep cloning him.
Yeah, like I would have got rid of him a long time ago.
Oh,
You're telling
same.
me that you took
There's got to be
like
someone
5 or 6 attempts to figure out this guy's incompetent.
Yep. And so what the second Arnold does is that he goes and gets the kid, goes and gets his wife, puts them on the plane. Well, he puts them on the plane. He goes with the plane, drops them into a taxi where they can go to his wife's mom's house. And then he has to come back and pick up the second Arnold before the building blows. So that's the plan. All right. Of course, this is where he shoots Wiley. Yep. And yeah.
Don't revive him. That's my favorite line in the whole movie. Don't revive him.
Yeah. You know what's great? Like, because I think we talked about this before. Like, it feels almost like part of these guns are practical effects. I don't know if they had some kind of gas emitter there that like just gives you a little flare of
100%
vents there.
100%.
It almost looks like a flame, like almost looks like 2 little flamethrowers that come off.
Yeah, like obviously
the
the beam obviously is just CGI'd in later, but like that thing kind of feels like it's real.
Oh,
well,
it
you
is.
can tell it's real. Look at his glasses.
Yeah, there's like actual flare.
You can
coming
see
up
the
them.
flame there, the flare there. So yeah, unless they wouldn't, as much as we could give people credit for CGIing, I don't think they would have thought of that. So that's definitely real.
Yeah, well, yeah, because even throughout the movie, whenever they're shooting them, even just with extras that are shooting them, you can tell that the flames on the sides are real, which I thought was pretty, like, it's really cool. I wonder if they sold any replicas of this, or was it
Kylo
production?
Ren
I don't
blaster.
think the movie
here.
was like, iconic enough. It's not like Blade Runner or something. Or...
You'd be
True.
surprised what you can find on Etsy, though. Like sometimes you can find some.
True.
Let me see. I'll take a look.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
have
I'm
to
sure
say as
Arnold
well-
probably kept one, yeah.
Total random sidestep, but like when I was at MegaCon, they had a sort of movie accurate replica of the blaster from Blade Runner. And
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous. It was $1,000, but man,
Jesus.
it looked beautiful.
Oh, man.
It doesn't look like there's anybody made replicas, but there's websites that sell props, and you can buy the props. They're usually pretty expensive. Like it looks like it's like $500 before any kind of fees or shipping. And this is not a movie I'd spend $500 on a replica for. I'm sorry.
No.
Unless you could
I
guarantee
love the
me it
idea
was
though, like somewhere out there, there's like a hardcore group of like Sixth Day fans.
Yeah,
Like,
fans, yeah.
they've got like a tiny little internet forum where they just pour over this movie.
like there's dozens of us, dozens.
Yeah, dozens.
I can. If you could guarantee me that it's the one that Arnold used in the movie, I might be interested in it. But if it's just one that was on set and some extra used it, I'm not interested in that.
As long as it shoots out the
Like,
flames, I'll be
normally,
happy.
they're like with guns like this. It's kind of like what they did with Aliens, right? Where there's maybe like 1 or 2 hero props that actually fire and do everything, and the others are just like made of plastic for the background.
Yeah, they're
shots.
just background shit. Yeah.
Yeah, one is for the camera, and the one is just for the back of the camera, blurred out,
Had
out of
this
focus.
movie been more successful, these might have been a little bit more iconic, just based on some of the sequence. Some of the sequences they use them for are pretty cool. So.
I mean, it's a pretty unique gun as well. You know, I haven't seen anything like this anywhere else. So, yeah, it's a shame actually. Yeah, they should. They should try and bring the style of gun back with the practical flames just popping out. I mean, even the plasma looks good. The plasma looks pretty nice.
Looks
yeah.
all right. I like in the chat as well. Amelia Bedelia saying you'd stroke it nightly for $1,000. Like, yeah, damn right, I would.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you could guarantee me $1,000 every night to do that, yeah, sure. I've been doing it for free most of my life, so.
So, of course, with Michael Drucker being hit, he's about to die. He says that he has 20 minutes tops, and so he starts to create his clone. But his clone is a fucking abomination at this point. Nothing is
ready, is it?
Yeah, nothing is ready, and it looks really bad. Yeah.
Especially, so he starts jumping around and like off of like platforms and shit. And he only has 72% skeletal growth. His his legs would snap as soon as he fell down. That's
That's true. Yeah, yeah,
The
it's true.
skeleton of
Yeah.
like a 90-year-old lady.
yeah. The best part is that he doesn't realize it too until someone points it out.
Well,
Yeah,
until
like,
he
you
looks
look at your
himself.
own hands and stuff and be like, "Oh, these are horribly malformed."
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, wouldn't he even feel it too, or like?
I would
don't they
assume you'd be
feel
in a lot of pain if you weren't completely born.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would even manifest. Like maybe your nervous system's not fully developed, so you wouldn't even feel pain.
It could slide both ways. Yeah, I was scrolling through Zitter and found a pick drinker with a camel.
That's why we had to back this up by 2 hours. He had to ride that camel back to Scotland. It was a real problem.
I honestly, I was quad biking through the desert in Morocco yesterday, and now here I am in Scotland in fucking February, and it's raining. Like, I'm just saying, man.
Oh, it's raining for you too? Nice. We're all raining.
It's life, man. It's life. It's
Drinker's just like, I'm going to go to every country that starts with the letter M in this calendar year. I'm going to do it.
So, of course, Talia and Robert are chasing him down, while of course Michael Drucker is preparing his clone, and Talia managed to get caught by Arnold, and she just fucking dies again. You know, there he is, strangled, pretty much.
Yeah, she
pretty
gets hung,
anticlimactic
basically.
death for her, actually.
Yeah, she gets hung. It's pretty sad.
The most
But,
anticlimactic death is probably Terry Crews. He just the non-clone just runs in and shoots him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You didn't even have a screenshot of that one.
I didn't
You
even have a
literally
screenshot of that. Yeah, I fucking
That's
forgot
how-
about that one.
Yeah, that's how unimaginative that death was. The rest, at least this one's kind of, hey, you got hung up by the oxygen line.
Yeah.
That one's just, hey, you got shot in the gut.
Done.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Time to die.
And of course, damn, what's it? Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker gets hit by the water. That's he gets hit by the water that's coming through because everything is broken, and we're back to Michael Drucker with his fucked up abomination of a clone. To be honest, it's nasty and slimy too. I love the fact that the clone just starts to take his clothes off before he's even dead, and they acknowledge it.
It makes a great point as well, because he's like, "Aren't you going to wait until I'm dead?" And the clone just says to him, "You wouldn't."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. True.
And he's right.
One
Like,
thing-
that's a guy coming face to face with his own evil.
Yep.
And he's kind of forced to because the power is all out. He can't really do another one in time. So I would assume that his theory here is, okay, I'll just use this 70% done clone, and he'll make a better clone. That's kind of
exactly.
Yeah, but this clone isn't aware that he's incomplete.
Yep. Until he's being shown like this. Kind of looks like Jason Voorhees, man. Pretty much.
A little bit. I mean, this is probably what if someone was undeveloped and grew up would look like, you know.
Yeah. You
By the way,
when he sees it, doesn't he say something like, "Oh, I can fix this" or something?
Yeah,
like,
he does.
Implying that he would have reconstructive surgery or something.
He says that he can fix it, but he'll still be immortal. But yeah, it also raises question of immortality and what is immortality? Is it you living forever, or is it just the idea of you living forever?
Yeah.
So,
Fun fact, by the way, his name Drucker, that's printer in German. So and he prints humans. So it's
Michael
deep.
Printer.
I'm 14 and that's deep. Okay.
Yeah.
And so of course, Arnold he looks
I
like
usually don't get political, but this is pretty spot on.
What do you mean we lost?
and so yes, this is the best screen grab of the movie, ladies and gentlemen. This is
I
it.
told you to go fuck yourself, but I didn't mean to take it literally.
Arnold's like, when Arnold delivers one-liners, they have to be short, and like that's probably too long for him to manage, like with his Austrian accent, because he delivers it more like, "When I said you to go fuck yourself, I did not mean for you to take it literally." And it's just,
it should have just been.
clunky
It
and
should have just
awkward.
been. I told you to go fuck yourself. That's what it should have
Yeah.
been.
Too many words for Arnold, man. Too many words.
It is like it has to be short and snappy for him.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
You didn't know I was going to say that, did you?
Oh man, and so yeah, of course. So the other Arnold starts to light the fuse, and now we witness the end of the genetics facility, and of course the end of Michael Drucker. So this is a clip with audio, so no need to mute.
Can you fly this? Better than you can. Good, because your shooting sucks.
That was it. That was the climax of the movie.
Such a goofy ending. Like it looks so shit and like so obviously fake. And even the villain's death, like where it's just like a mannequin that's been dropped onto the floor.
He wouldn't. So when
feels so weirdly anticlimactic after everything they've been through.
when he hits that glass and his legs hit, it would have been funnier if they would have just shattered.
Yeah,
and
directly.
he fell
Yeah.
that way. Yeah, like if he
I
would have.
feel like it would have been better if he'd just been stood on the roof when the building explodes, and he turns around as the fire closes in on him, and he's like, ah, and then boom, explosion.
I mean, it would have been
This
cooler to
turned out
just
like
see him
some
get
shit.
sliced up by the chopper. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes I bring on these, unknowns. It's the least I can do. I mean, that's how I got my start, So I just
Hour.
figure.
Thank you for this opportunity. I just hope one day I can be successful and I can make it on YouTube.
At this point, I
Don't
mean,
worry,
I've
you
been on
will,
your
you
channel
will.
like 12 times. You've been on here like 5. I mean, I think we've paid each other back a few times. So.
Yeah. Stuff like this is just great fun though. I love it.
You should have folded like a sheet when he hit. Yep.
It would have been
Yeah,
better
well, at
if
minimum, his legs should have folded up.
Wait, in RoboCop where the guy gets dunked into the toxic waste and then he's like staggering out onto the road and he gets hit by Clarence Boddicker's car. and just
Yes,
explodes
yeah.
over. I feel like it would have been more satisfying if that had happened. Like he'd hit the ground and just like shattered, or
Just exploded.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been
especially if your skeletal structure is only at 72%. So you're talking about, like you said, what'd you say? It was like an old lady with osteoporosis, basically. It's like, how is he making that jump? He's also, I think that's really, like, when I was thinking about this the second time I watched the movie today, I watched it the first time we were supposed to do this, and I was like, that was a couple weeks, that was like 3 weeks ago. I'll rewatch it again just to be a little bit more. I think the villain is really the problem. He's at no point do I ever feel he's all that menacing. He doesn't really come up. Yes, he has money. He's got this, facility, but in this particular instance, I don't ever take him seriously.
Everyone in the movie is just a bit inept and not particularly intimidating. It just feels like a movie that, like, I don't know, it doesn't have like a really strong central narrative that they were pursuing with this. It's like they didn't quite know what they wanted it to be. They didn't know what direction they wanted to go. It probably had the DNA of like a much more intelligent exploration of like what it means to be human, what the nature of consciousness is, all that good stuff. And then they just said, no, we're going to cast Arnold in it. Oh, fuck, I guess we better just make it a dumb action movie then. And like, that's what you end up with.
Yeah, it's basically, well, I was expecting more of a, I wouldn't mind a very small ending with this, where it's just a one-on-one with Arnold and Michael Drucker, where it kind of ends like a Western, where it's a proper duel between both of them, where they're both maybe evenly matched or unevenly matched, but someone has an unfair advantage at some point, which it would be Michael Drucker, of course. But I don't know. I would have expected something just better than this, you know?
Yeah, and like even Arnold doesn't really do much apart from just like run around and just shoot stuff.
Yeah.
I know, I know that the way I describe it, it makes it sound like basically every Arnold movie ever. But like in this, like there's not even a climactic showdown with the villain as such. He just runs away and shoots his gun quite a bit. That's all it is. It's just, it's weak.
It's so weak, especially compared to True Lies that we covered last time. It's like, man.
I think the real ending, I think what Uninspired said is probably what should have been the ending. The fact that they set up these drone helicopters so much, he should have just got chopped up by it. I think that was the real ending that they should have had. You've set up for the fact that they could control this thing from a distance, you know, let people forget about it for a little while. You know, it would have been a half hour ago the last time you saw it, and then just go from there. Just let that be the thing that takes him out.
I wonder as well, right? Because this came right after End of Days.
Yes.
Yeah, but a little bit under a year after End of Days, yeah.
Yeah, and Arnold dies in that, right? Because he like sacrifices himself so that the devil can't possess him to like kill the girl and take over the world, that sort of thing. And
Don't get too ahead of us, Drinker. I got to drag you back for that one still. Don't worry.
No, that's fine. But like that movie didn't do well financially, right? And I think people saw it as a bit of a downbeat ending and stuff. And I wonder if they changed this during production to like come up with a happier ending where both the Arnolds survive.
Yeah, I mean, you were teed up for an ending that could have been Arnold dies, but he also survives. It was a very unique scenario you could have had there. I mean, and Bush says it right here. He also dies at the end of T2, and everyone considers that his best movie ever.
Sure, yeah, but that was like a very different movie.
It also, it was under very different circumstances. It was, you know, he was a machine in that one, whereas here the whole moral question is this guy really a human, or is he just like a copy of a human? Like that's it's a little different when you're dropping metal into molten lead, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's quite anticlimactic, really. But especially at the end of a 2-hour movie, man. That's kind of it. It was like, if this was an hour and a half, maybe I'll give it a pass. When it's a 2-hour movie, you're kind of like, all right, okay, cool. But,
I mean, this technically this isn't even the end. The end is like weird. Look what he just decides. They decide to do.
So Arnold basically saves Arnold, and they go home, and it's almost a happily ever after. But since they're still both alive, and of course, well, one of them needs to live with the family, the clone Arnold decides to go to Argentina to start his charter business over there.
No Austrian man has ever gone there, I swear.
Honestly, they are missing a trick on this one, because like they could both be married to the wife, right, and just take it in turns. Like, oh, you can be with her this day, and so like the other guy just gets the day off, and can go and do his own thing or whatever.
True.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a pretty lucrative career. I mean, if your business can afford 3 drone fighter jet helicopters, you probably make a decent amount.
Well, he can afford a 1957 Chevy, so you know that's not cheap.
No, it was a Corvette. It was.
Oh yeah, Corvette. Sorry, yeah.
You're talking about a 50+ year. What was it? I guess 2015. So yeah, you're talking about over almost a 60-year car at that point, and he's maintaining it. Because if you look closely, he doesn't maintain it himself. When Terry Crews opens the refrigerator and the schedule is there, and they look, they're at the school, you see right above it, it's an appointment for his Corvette to get like maintenance. So if you can afford to pay someone to maintain classic cars, you probably got a decent amount.
Yeah, and plus keep in mind he does have a VIP clientele, which is the level of Michael Drucker. He's the level of Michael Drucker as VIP clientele. So yeah, he's probably making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, he's probably pulling in like at least I would guess that a business like this would pull in probably 8 figures. Obviously you have to pay taxes and employees, but.
So is he considered dead at the end of this? Like, is he a wanted fugitive? I feel like I don't.
I would guess that all the records would be erased. The only records that the clone exists were in that building, so he's not wanted or a fugitive. He just doesn't exist. At least the clone.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Now, it's going to be really confusing if he ever gets attached to a crime and they're like, hey, a guy in United States that is our prime suspect, and they fly up and get the original Arnold, and he's like, I wasn't even in Argentina.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so what he does is he manages to, I guess, sneak in a little day, of course, with his wife and kid before he leaves, and so that was his gift from other Arnold, and then he flies off to Argentina. Well, flies off to Argentina while the second one goes by boat, and that's pretty much it. That's it. That's the end of the movie. It's like, all right, cool.
But the weirdest line at the end of the movie is he says, "Oh, they're your family too." It's like that doesn't make this ending any better.
Yeah, like, he's still having to leave them behind and forget that they ever existed, and like he just has to be like a nobody for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
I feel like this movie just like took the coward's way out, and it absolutely should have killed off the clone.
definitely. Yeah, it should have 100% killed off the clone. I don't know.
Or at minimum, what they should have did was he was presumed dead, and you see like that Batman Returns over the shoulder thing with Catwoman at the end, where it's like, oh no, not really dead, kind of thing. Like that,
Yeah,
I would have
he's
accepted
living somewhere.
It's
Yeah,
it's done so straight up in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I go back to the point I made earlier. I think this movie opened like a philosophical can of worms, and it had no idea what to do with them.
true.
Just for basically a action thriller. That's all they were going for with this. I think like it's grappling with stuff that's way beyond the ability of the script to handle it.
Which, I do think it deserves a remake, man. It's one of those movies where you actually say, I would like it to get remade to see what it would look like if everything was fully explored.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could probably do this one again, and you'd come up with something a lot better.
Right, because I know that we shit on remakes nowadays, but a lot of the greatest like movies, well, what we consider the greats now, are remakes of movies that could have used improvements, and so with the improvements, they've become the definitive editions. The Thing, the Fly, not the Fly, sorry, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and all of that. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the 70s version. 70s
as well.
Yeah, true. Yep.
The only other movies he did. So let's just take a snapshot from 96 to 2003, which is sandwiched around this 3 years either way. So you have a T2 3D, which isn't really a movie. That was just a ride. Eraser, which is not bad. Jingle All the Way, which I think is super underrated as a Christmas movie.
It's pretty fun, actually. I like Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. Batman and Robin, which is great for the memes and the lulls, but not a
best movie ever made, in fact.
Oh, well, if we ever do that, when we eventually do that one, don't worry. It's an Arnold movie, or you get the first invite. End of Days, Sixth Day, Collateral Damage, which isn't really that bad. I mean, he was kind of just doing decent movies at the time, and this one landed in the middle, and I think that's kind of the problem. Is this and End of Days were really playing off of the new millennium and where's it going, and like one of them was from a religious, is the devil coming, and this one was more from a technological, are we going to end our own existence kind of thing. And
I think Collateral Damage was actually like delayed by over a year because it was originally coming out in 2001, and it dealt with a terrorist attack, and so like September the 11th really put the brakes on that. Like nobody's interested in that sort of thing right now. And that movie was it basically died at the box office.
I think a lot of people ignore that too. All the things that happened in the early 2000s, obviously 9/11, but then the dual wars that were going on in the Middle East. It changed a lot of what was going on with action movies. People didn't perceive action movies the same way anymore. Yeah, and you had to do them more morally ambiguous, I guess you would say, would be the term I would go with.
Yeah, they were more complex, I think.
Yeah, and I think that was that may have this. If there was a little bit more plays on the morals and I don't care about the science of how they do it. They could have cut that shit. I don't care. But if they would have really played off of the morals more and what this actually means for society, not just have it be a backdrop to I want to get my family back.
I think honestly, if they had done it in the style of Total Recall, if they had someone like Paul Verhoeven do it, I think you might have gotten a decent movie out of this. because there is some fun ideas to play with here, and I think it just takes the right director and the right storytelling to bring that out.
I agree.
We got here, there was just very much a straight up sci-fi action movie, and it just wasn't quite the right format for it.
Yeah, no matter what you say, though, it definitely has great ideas. Like no matter how you slice it, there's good ideas here. It's just exactly like you just said. It's the execution of those ideas. They could have been done so much. All of them almost could have been done so much better.
Yeah, well, I do think Joe Dante. He could have done this pretty well if he was one of the first choices as the director. But it wouldn't have been the same. I don't think that he would have opened the philosophical can of worms though, because it's Joe Dante. You would have had more fun with it.
Yeah,
Joe Dante would have been like Gremlins. That's what we want.
Well, I think when you put this into the context of his career, like as you were saying, he had that hiatus after Batman and Robin, and this was like very much late stage Arnold, where you had the End of Days, Sixth Day, Collateral Damage, all fairly conventional, just like standard Schwarzenegger action movies to a degree, maybe with some variation of horror or religious overtones or sci-fi or whatever, but it's all just standard Schwarzenegger stuff. He finished up with Rise of the Machines in 2003, which arguably was a somewhat return to form. Like I know people shit on that movie, but compared to other films, like it did pretty well financially for him.
A lot of it falls into that same category as like Alien 3 and Predators, where it's just like this isn't as bad as we would come to find out would be later on.
Yeah, but then like essentially, like apart from a few cameos, and like I know he did like the Expendables, like that was really just again.
Well, he became governor, so he couldn't do movies.
Yeah, for sure. But like he didn't
get other shit
come
going
back
on
until 2013, and The Last Stand was fucking garbage. And then that's very much like old Arnold by that point. So that was really the end of his action career in the normal sense compared to what he was doing.
I do
before.
agree with this sentiment from Amelia that the title is a bit vague. Yeah, it's a reference to something that most people wouldn't have known or thought about. You don't hear the majority of people don't hear the Sixth Day and immediately go, oh, that's when God made man. Like that's not the thing that you usually think about.
Yeah, true.
Well, again, and like it starts with a biblical quote, and like that's all fine. It ties into the title, but again, it's dealing with higher minded ideas than the movie really like is capable of dealing with. It's like setting you up for something that's the movie ultimately doesn't deliver on, and maybe it seems like a little bit pretentious considering what the film actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Arnold in better roles like today, where he's not trying to play Arnold. I think one of the best roles that he did was Maggie back in 2015, where it's just a dad and his daughter gets turned into a zombie. Well, it's slowly turning into a zombie, and it's basically just a family drama. And Arnold was pretty good in that, but with his age, I think that he should select more movies like that, but he's still trying to do, the Arnold role where he's a big dude, but you're limited physically at that point.
Yeah,
I do. We kind of already, obviously, we've already jumped into the our final thoughts, so we just kind of skip that section.
Oh yeah,
Uninspired. Do you have those two pictures I sent you? Because I do not want those to go unanswered. They were from. So I was doing restreams to get all these two hosts back onto my channel, and some people I mentioned, if there is any super chats, I'll acknowledge them on the next stream. But some of them were for the True Lies stream, and I was like, oh well, Drinker's coming on soon. I'll just do them for that one. And so as soon as we get those pulled up,
let me pull those up on my PC. That'll be better.
Yeah, no problem.
Of course. All right. So. Wait, how the fuck do I share my screen on this? Oh, there we go.
It's under share.
Thank you, Dark Hour. All right. So it's gonna be tiny. Let me see if I can zoom on this. Can I? Oh, yes, I can. There we go. All right. Show on stream. All right. So this is the first one. So Dark Hour, you read it.
Sure. Albert, I don't know what the last part of that name is. I don't remember.
Retro.
Oh, is that who you've seen him before?
Oh yeah, he's a regular.
Okay, so it's right there. Duh. It's Albert, not a retro for 10. Canadian Californian dollars. Tia and Jamie Lee Curtis. These were, like I said, these were for the True Live stream. Should have somehow ended up falling into a pool of baby oil in their lingerie and got into a wrestling match. I think that would have added serious depth to the story. At least a foot of depth in the baby oil. I think it would have added.
I mean, yeah, I'm fully in favor of that.
A wild P. Diddy would have just randomly appeared, man. Once there's baby oil, he just appears. Wait, let me get the second one pulled up.
You want to read this one, Uninspired, or do you want me to do it again? Or maybe Drinker. Drinker, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let me see. All right, there we go.
Okay. Oh, this is also from Albert Nada Retro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of torture, this would have been a greater excuse. Opportunity to add intensity to the film by having Tia tickle Jamie Lee to get information from Arnold.
Man, they could have used all of this.
Like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. You have to tickle her harder.
Take off her nylons. She's not wearing any. Good.
That's good.
But thank you so much, Albert, not a retro. Thank you so much. Hopefully you managed to see that we've covered your super chats over here. Or maybe
I'll if I see him in the chat again, I'll mention this.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
If he's not here.
Man, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Especially on a restream. Thank you.
Yeah, that was why I, a lot of the restreams, some of them got a couple of small super chats. It's just out of appreciation for putting them back on the channel. But those ones were specifically about the movie, so I was like, okay, we gotta really acknowledge these ones.
Albert has solid ideas. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess Uninspired. I guess that brings us to your favorite segment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to plug your shit. Okay, well, this is the segment of the show where you let the people know what you're doing, what you've already done, or what you're going to do. So, Critical Drinker, let the people know what you've done, what you're going to do, or what you've already done. Oh, shit, I said that first. Fuck.
What you've done, what you plan to do, or
right,
what you don't intend to do, I guess.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it. Go ahead,
okay,
man.
So what am I working on at the moment? I think I'm probably going to do a production hell about that movie. It Ends With Us. You know, the one with Blake Lively and and stuff. That's evolved.
I love the production hells. Those are my favorite ones you do.
So that just seems like a complete shit show. So it's quite funny to cover. So I'm going to do that, I think.
Yeah, nice. Dude, production hells are always great because
those were the ones that I always went back to because those ones are not necessarily topical for the time. Like obviously when I was getting into
they're like evergreen.
I watched. Yeah, I watched a lot of your. But like I remember when I was going through your backlog, it was like if it was a movie I didn't give a shit about, I skipped it. Like I didn't see it or I didn't care. But the production hells don't matter for that. It's it's very much, it doesn't matter if you don't like it because it's about the actual production, not necessarily.
There's an entire YouTube channel that actually does like kind of production hell type of stuff. I think it's called It Was a Shit Show. Yeah, that's what the channel is
I think
called.
I've heard of that one. Yeah,
they're pretty good. They cover some pretty broad stuff and even some really unknown stuff. Yeah, man, looking forward to it. Oh shit,
I agree with this. Yeah, Tommy's been here, man.
No, I mean,
I agree with
Tommy just gifted you, man.
Oh, did he? I didn't even.
Yeah, Tommy just gifted 5 Dark Hour memberships, man. Thank you, Tommy.
Oh, it didn't pop up. It didn't pop up as a color here for me. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you very much for that. I have apparently need to check on the settings I have for Streamlabs. Still figuring this one out.
Thank you, Tommy. But yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, Drinker. It's been a pleasure for us.
No, it's honestly it's always fun to come on, hang with you guys, and talk Arnold movies. Like,
talk Arnold, talk construction, talk cheese, everything.
Yeah, I talk.
Dark Hour. I guess it's your turn to plug your shit, my man.
So I released my review of Captain Falcon and the Brave New World record for flops. And it becomes slowly it started out bad, but it's become my best video so far in terms of speed of what it's gotten in there. So that's pretty good. I want to thank Drinker for retweeting it yesterday. and everybody who also has retweeted it. It's I hadn't done a video in a while, so I was like, let's see how the algorithm treats me. Let's see what happens, and it's going well. So I guess I'm back in the game, so to say. Other than that, I don't. Yeah, I guess the next thing I would do would probably be, because I like to do them a little longer with, I have to have a passion for the specific thing. So it's probably going to be either Thunderbolts, or if the Daredevil show ends up being a shit show. If it's a good show, I'm just going to watch it and enjoy it. But if it ends up being a shit show, I'll cover that.
Are you going to?
And then obviously,
are you going to cover Snow White?
Yeah, is that before Thunderbolts?
I think that's March. So yeah,
they're both. Yes, okay. So then maybe that's the next one. Yeah, I think I have to, because I'm not super passionate about Snow White, but I am passionate about destroying legacies of things that you shouldn't destroy. So yeah. How about you, Uninspired? What do you got going
doing
on?
Oh, well, next week I'm not going to be on Two Hoes. So that's one thing, because I have some personal stuff to attend to. But I guess the next thing I'm going to cover is, maybe Snow White, because I've actually had the video made for a while, but it's not. Well, you guys will see. It's a surprise, okay? But the video is already made.
You mentioned this. You're not actually covering that Snow White. You're covering a Snow White, but
I'm covering a Snow White. Yeah, so it's going to be a surprise video since the video is already done.
Snow White and the Huntsman. Is that what it is? Is that
it? Might be. It might be.
You can tell me after the fact. It's fine.
So that'll just be a surprise video. But apart from that, just Two Hosts for now. Next week, we'll see if Dark Hour gets maybe Dark Hour is going to go solo next week, or maybe have a different co-host, or we might push the show.
I might do a guest host on that one. I might try someone out, who's never been a host before. Who knows?
Yeah, so we'll see with that. And of course, you guys can catch me up in the Discord server, man. Just join the Two Host Discord, chatting up over there, watching movies, having fun, just mainly just relaxing. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to say massive thank you to everyone in the audience for watching. It legitimately always warms my heart that you guys spend your time with us, because to me, time is precious. It's one of the most important things ever. And see that you guys spend it with us, talking in the chat and just having fun with us, it means so much to me, man. It means so much to me. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats as well. And of course, massive thank you to the Critical Drinker for popping up on the stream, man.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Dark Hour, do you have anything else you want to?
No, I just want to hit that end button because I love seeing our faces pop out of the old
the Looney Tunes outro. Yeah. Well, I guess we're done. So, bye, everybody.
See y'all later.
Go away.
There we go. I didn't have to ask him that time. He did it himself.